take effect after a 5-4 ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A divided Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to enforce for now its so-called public charge immigration restriction, lifting a pair of preliminary injunctions issued by federal judges. At issue is the administration's rule issued in August that would restrict immigrants from entering the U.S. if the government believes they will rely on public assistance such as housing or health care benefits. Lower federal courts had blocked the policy from being implemented while the issue's being litigated. The new policy can now be used to deny green cards to immigrants over their use of public benefits, including Medicaid, food stamps, and housing vouchers. Lisa?
Thanks, John. Lawsuits over that policy continue. The U.S. military says a military plane that crashed earlier today in Afghanistan does not appear to have been shot down. However, no word yet on what happened or on casualties. It went down in a Taliban-controlled area. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, welcome to this ad for new Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. How do you want it?
Cheer Squad. Woo! Go Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. Woo! Give me a ham and jack slider.
Ham and jack slider.
Give me an Italian spice slider.
Italian spice slider.
What's that spell?
It doesn't really spell anything.
New Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. Go Sliders!
Subway, make it what you want.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
An NTSB team is in Southern California investigating the helicopter crash that killed 9 people yesterday, including former NBA star Kobe Bryant and his teenage daughter. Weather may have been a factor. There was heavy fog at the time.
The cause of the crash less important to Kobe Bryant's legions of fans than the mere fact that he is gone at the tender age of 41. Many of them showed up here at the Calabasas crash site and to the Staples Center, the Lakers' home, of course, to express their profound sense of loss.
He's basically bigger than basketball. Like, he reached a God level. Like, more than a man. Like, seems like he was superhuman or something.
A true legend of the game, a devastating loss for the city of Los Angeles and indeed for the entire world of sports.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Calabasas. The top federal prosecutor in Manhattan wants information from Britain's Prince Andrew on the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case, but he says the prince has failed to cooperate.
U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman says so far the prince has not even responded to requests for an interview from his office or the FBI. This comes months after scrutiny from his association with Epstein and a woman's allegation of sex with the prince at Epstein's request, which led to Prince Andrew stepping away from his royal obligations. Epstein killed himself last year in his Manhattan holding cell, but Berman said the case did not end with Epstein's suicide. U.S. Attorney General William Barr has promised punishment for anyone who may have helped Epstein abuse young girls. In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
An hour to the close on Wall Street, a sell-off continues, driven in part by concern about the spread of the coronavirus. The Dow right now is down 408 points. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Cocoa Coffee Company is now available at Circle K. Single origin coffee beans carefully sourced and locally roasted to give you the freshest cup of coffee Guam has to offer. Grab a cup that's brewed every 30 minutes or purchase a bag of the locally roasted whole beans. Flavors now serving: light medium roasted Ethiopia and medium dark roasted Jamaican Blue Mountain. Exclusively available at Circle K. With every Cocoa Coffee Company purchase, a portion of the proceeds will go towards the Cocoa Recovery Program.
Good morning. It is 6:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A 25-year-old man arrested in connection with the murder of a woman is being held on $100,000 cash bail. Katner Harry of Barragata was charged with murder and aggravated assault after a woman was discovered dead along a Tota roadway. The woman, identified as 37-year-old Luciana Pauli, who was found in a grassy area with severe bruising and massive swelling to her face. Police noted that she was found partially naked. It was through the help of surveillance video taken from a nearby mobile gas station that they were able to identify the victim and her assailant. Police Chief Steve Ignacio says detectives were able to locate Harry at his home. He says that the pair agreed to meet because they were together earlier in the day. A physical altercation ensued between the two. Harry told police that's when he fell asleep in his car, and Polly woke him up by pouring beer on him, and he became angry and punched her several times in the facial area. He then blacked out while chasing Polly and couldn't remember the details. He did admit, though, to knowing that he killed Polly. According to prison records, Harry was arrested in November of 2012 on charges of public drunkenness, disorderly conduct, loitering, and underage drinking. While the administration continues to entertain war claimants, Congressman Mike Nicholas says his office cannot expedite claims. In a press release that was issued, Nicholas states, "Please be advised that the Governor's War Claims Processing Center is issuing slips of paper to constituents that they are unable to help, telling them to contact the Congressman's office to expedite their war claim processing." The release says this is not something the Congressman is able to do, adding it's, quote, "actually pretty incredible that they are so willing to mislead the people in order to plow forward and save face rather than just be honest and admit their process didn't include everyone." The governor's D.C. liaison is the author that created the process, so they're fully aware that sending people to his office to expedite the claims is actually just misleading them, he says. He adds that he'll continue to work on H.R. 1365 and anticipates the passage pending the conclusion of the impeachment proceedings. We'll have more news after this.
Oh, what's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Numbers of confirmed cases continue to grow in China and the mainland and elsewhere, but Guam and Saipan do not have a single case of coronavirus. There was a bit of a scare yesterday when an internal memo from an insurance company was circulated stating there was a confirmed case in the CNMI. Local officials issued a joint release yesterday stating the claim was completely false and there are no reported suspected or confirmed infections of the coronavirus on Guam or the CNMI. The Saipan government did send test results from a family of 5 who arrived in the airport with flu-like symptoms. The testing ruled out coronavirus and showed the family had simple flu. Flights from China continue to arrive on Saipan. Guam and the Northern Mariana governments have a system to send samples for testing to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC has stated that it's established a mechanism for rapid testing for coronavirus cases. Guam's Department of Public Health has stated that Guam is at low risk, but people are still urged to exercise caution and take preventative action. About $1.2 million in tax refunds for returns filed by August of 2019 will be sent out this week, just as Revenue Tax Director Daphne Shimizu confirmed her agency is ready to accept individual and corporate income tax returns for the new tax season. The Department of Administration will be mailing out 176 tax refund checks this week. The amount includes refunds garnished to pay government debts for error-free returns filed on or before August 3rd of 2019. Elsewhere in the news, Naomi Michelle Sanchez Parr could have her supervised release revoked after she admitted that she failed 5 drug tests and failed to report to 23 other drug tests. She's also accused of failing to comply with substance abuse treatment, submit monthly reports for a probation office, comply with a probation officer's instructions, and pay her special assessment fee. She's on 3 years supervised release for a 2015 drug conviction. She admitted to the allegations during a hearing before a magistrate judge on Monday. She remains in custody of the U.S. Marshals. The court will submit the report and recommendation to the chief judge in regards to revoking Parr's supervised release. In 2015, Parr admitted to authorities that she had arranged for drugs to be sent to her using someone else's mailing address. On September 27, 2015, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service identified a suspicious first-class mail package that contained one heat-sealed bag containing smaller plastic bags concealed in another Xbox video game. Inside the smaller bags were 17 grams of marijuana and 5 grams of methamphetamine. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now's Ray with your weather.
You're supposed to identify the game that the drugs came in.
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed. There we go. There's something that rings just authentic about that. You know, we're gonna send this in. Need for Speed. Crystal methamphetamine. Keep going like that. 6:12 in the morning. Is there going to be weather today? Says mostly cloudy and breezy with scattered light showers. Sounds like a repeat of yesterday. In fact, I can hear while I'm sitting at my desk in the office. I can hear the rain on the asphalt out in front of the building. So I know it was doing some early morning showers. Northeast winds up to about 25 miles an hour, gusting sometimes to 35 miles an hour. Skirt check, ladies. Highs near 85 degrees and overnight lows tonight about 76 degrees, where we'll have mostly cloudy skies and some more of those isolated showers. Northeast winds 10 to about 20 miles an hour tonight. Sunset will be at 6:19. 6:19 for sunset. Alert the others. And sunrise this morning should be about 6:48 or so. 6:13, that's news and weather together here on The Point, brought to you by
At
Bank
the mall,
Pacific.
as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment. You could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES 350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Quarter after, 6 o'clock in the morning. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show being brought to you by American President Lines, APL, global presence with a local home. And the dudes over at Wendy's, a reminder, they are offering seniors ages 55 and up a special menu that comes with free super salad for lunch and dinner time. Given the weather, sounds like a good day for free soup. People with valid AARP cards get a 10% discount on their meals today over at Denny's.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
At 6 o'clock in the morning, it's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. Mike Side with baby sister Montecilva Tyron taking care of news, including some late-breaking stories and late-breaking stuff. Mike St. Nicholas this morning is the first thing that I woke up to was a note from Mike. And it said, what are they doing over there? Congressman unable to expedite local war claims. And he says, please be advised that the Governor's War Claims Processing Center is issuing slips of paper to constituents they are unable to help, telling them, contact St. Nicholas to expedite their war claims processing. And Mike's going, yeah, we can't do that here. We've already got the process set up, and we're waiting on the bill to get done. There's no expediting from the congressman's office. And maybe you should check with the D.C. liaison, Madeline, who already knows that there is no such thing as expediting war claims out there. So I'm wondering what the heck this is all about.
I think he made it very clear early on that there are 3,600 total claimants, and this is only going to cover a fraction of those who have adjudicated claims.
Right,
so.
And anybody that doesn't have an adjudicated claim, it's not like Mike's going to be able to start making phone calls with the adjudication people and speed things up. Plus, there's a conversation about asking for more time for other war claimants who maybe not were part of that first draft to get in there and talk about it.
I was getting calls and some messages from folks in the States who were like, what do
about
do out
us?
Here?
Yeah,
so
there's
I said,
no war claim center.
I don't know what to tell you except go online and check the website and give some.
Well, maybe we'll check with Vice and see Tony Bavauta again this morning, 6:16, and I got Real Joe Cruz in the other studio, pressing buttons and doing all that stuff. You need to reach out to me, 888-8255. That's 888-8255. And no unfair questions like, what's wrong with your hair? I don't know what happened to the hair this morning. There's just one. It's like a weird slick back thing going on, and it's possible that I might have forgotten something fundamental like, I don't know, shampoo and cream rinse conditioner.
It kind of has like a Max Headroom kind of big poofy look in the front.
It's scary. It's absolutely scary. And the beard is starting to frizz out. I'm going to have to do some manscaping, I think it's called, is manscaping. There was a commercial. I was over at the place last night, and in between they always put it on SportsCenter, ESPN SportsCenter, right? So they got the thing on, and it's just this one long, Kobe's dead piece. And it was, I actually was thinking, this might be the most depressing night of all time.
Well, I got pulled into it too, and I was crying. I'm sitting on the couch looking at the stuff online, and I was crying over some of the intense feelings of folks who are really attached to Kobe Bryant, either as a fan or as a member.
We were talking about teammates. The images of these guys getting off the plane.
Getting off the plane, finding out that one of his best friends has just died, and they just all breaking down. And then you hear people who are fans of Kobe Bryant.
Right.
And I'm not a sports person, but Kobe Bryant touched so many people through the game. And
so I got no connection to Kobe, right? I mean, I'm not a basketball guy, but the thing that we have in common is that we're both fathers of daughters. And it occurred to me as I was looking at some of those pictures, and he's got his daughter in his arms, and I'm looking at the picture going, I don't know, and thank God it happened as quick as it did. I don't know if I would be able to handle that instantaneous heartbreak of being in a helicopter I knew was going to crash, knowing that I was going to die, but my daughter was going to die too. How do you want it to go? You want her to go first, or you want to go first so you don't have to see it, right? I mean, how do you deal with that?
I don't know, but I was a big fan of his dad's skills more than I was his
dad's skills, right?
Yeah.
So
and then you learn
still
about,
a lot to learn about this guy.
The fire and police officials who were responding to this and going on, and in their first press conference, they were just telling off the media.
Yeah.
I know it's something to be first, but get it right, because there were so many inaccurate stories about people who were dying.
Who else was on the thing? Yeah. Well,
dead.
I mean, we had that yesterday.
There were people who died on the plane, and their families were finding out about it via media and not getting it from the
official sources.
Yeah, so it's
tough stuff. And it's hard to be in the media, and we do as much as we can around here to trust but verify before you start leaping out. Unfortunately, same thing can't be said about WhatsApp, which is the new kind of media. And I don't know, is everybody in the world get that thing from and it looked reliable because it was from Alpha Insurance up in Saipan saying, we've got cases up here, and be careful and don't leave snot rags laying around and that kind of thing. And everybody around here lost their minds. I sent a copy of it over to Mindy, and Mindy says, yeah, we got it too, checking on it right now and all. And thankfully the authorities up in Saipan were very rapid in their response, saying, whoa, hey, time out. No, that's not necessarily the case here.
I actually tried to call Alpha.
Did you?
I think they were getting so many calls, that it was like a pickup hang-up.
Yeah, we're not here. Here, 6:20 in the morning. We'll get around to talking more about that. But let me say good morning to all of my coronavirus, my coronas.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
I see Chris Lujan up there with a bunch of names I'll get to in a second. Got to do the top 10, though. This is an unofficial competition for listeners and viewers of the program to be among the first to make some kind of notice and some kind of appearance on the Facebook Live. Today, James Howard leads the charge, who says, low risk, wait a second, I don't want to say that on the radio. It's a little bit too early for that kind of language here, but he says, yeah, he's not believing the idea that Guam is low risk, largely because we're about 3.5, 4 hours away, airplane ride away from mainland China. Number two, we have an international airport over here, and he doesn't believe that enough is being done. All right, you're welcome to talk about that if you like. Mary Lou Barsamon, number two, Alex Aflugi, good morning to you. Nate Horn, Yoichi Rangel, still don't know if he's gotten his Doberman or his German Shepherd. Rico Blancaflor is out there. My buddy Mark Cruz, Andrew Camacho, who is the inspiration for the My Corona, wants to take the My Sharona song and redo it. Instead of My Sharona, it would be My Corona, because apparently people dying from a flu-like disease is funny. I don't know. It's just, for some people, it's that crazy kind of gallows sense of humor, right? Dance with the devil. Ismael Velez is online, and Tony and Annette and Pinko Ada are there as well. Pam Duvall is online. Good morning, Ray Sablon, Maria Carbolito. These are the names that are in front of me right now, but frankly, the crowd is getting so large, I'm almost going to have to start the show with who's on Facebook Live, because there's just so many names that are flying up that I'm not going to be able to get to. Or maybe you like it that way. Lynn Vince Borja Polino's online. I got Charlene Marcia. So nice to see you yesterday. Bennett Lohan Duenas says, lost my top fan status. Bennett, I'm not in charge of that. I have no idea how it works. I go to a couple of Facebook pages, and I get that little diamond that says I'm a top fan as well. And I don't know. Fortunately, I'm not getting that when I go to Pornhub. But Bennett, I got Candy Knudsen Guzman is online. Issa J. Rivera and Darlene Bloss. Ted Lewis, yes, that one. Adonis Mendiola, Annette Ada Vasquez is on. Ken LG, who is already, he's riffing on a resolution from Tina Rose Munya Barnes, and I can't recall. I briefly saw it. I didn't click on it on Facebook, but give me a ring and let me know if that's a new one or if it's just you rehashing the story about her trying to get us hooked up with these, I don't know, colony people, independence movement, whatever. I forget the name of the group, but I remember we laughed long and hard about it. Issa J. Rivera, Greg Karabrock is online. I see Rooster, Carlos Barreto. Hello, Belencidel. Nice to have you. Vicky Ganashis Bora. I just like saying Ganashis. And let me see, Andy Camacho. What's that? I intend to stay healthy by becoming a bubble boy. There's that. No, I'm serious. There's that. I mean, there's so many people. What are we going to do? Coronavirus, 3 days of darkness. What's going to happen to us now? And the folks over at Public Health did put out a statement in the last few days on exactly what you're supposed to do based on what we know right now about coronavirus and different ways that you might be able to protect yourself. And among them are things, unfortunately, that I find myself doing all the time. They actually write it down, like don't touch your eyes and your nose and things like that. This is all basically rehashing the stuff that we learned when in the old SARS time, the old SARS virus. I don't have it in front of me. I'll find it. But anyway, there's a whole list of things that you can do when cough etiquette, which is something I didn't learn until SARS. I mean, I'd always covered my mouth when I coughed.
No. Grandma did tell you just didn't listen.
No. Just cover your mouth when you cough. But it's that. But they've taught the kids now because if you cover your mouth, you're just taking whatever it is that you've got, whatever sickness, AIDS, cancer, SARS you've got, and now it's on your hands, and you're shaking people's hands or touching your face and stuff like that. So I guess the deal that they started teaching kids years ago was
In the elbow.
Yeah, sneeze or cough into your elbow. And I've slowly over the years tried to accommodate that kind of thing. Now, is this going to be one
Or
where...
into your shirt.
Yeah, I suppose. Is this going to be one of those situations where they're going to tell people at Mass not to hold hands anymore? Or when it's sign of peace, you don't have to, like, shake your hands and kiss or anything like that? You can just let it go?
I think people stop doing that. And very rarely do you see somebody turn around and actually shake hands unless you're related.
Yeah. Otherwise,
but a lot of
hey,
times it's just the peace sign.
peace, love, dove. That kind of thing. Gotcha. Michelle Peer is online. And Michelle Peer probably watching with just beaming with pride. It looks like there's a light on behind Mana.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's not a light. That's her painting. That's Michelle Peer's painting. And that's going to be the featured artwork until somebody, maybe, I don't know, if somebody buys it, somebody buys it. But it'll be the featured artwork from Michelle Peer over the next couple of days.
It's got beautiful colors there.
It's
so
awesome colors.
On this rainy day, it'll make you feel like you have a little sunshine.
Great texture, and she likes it because it makes her feel warm in our Sub-Zero studios. Joe Leasea-Longi is online. Nice to see Richard Leon. Simon Sanchez from the CCU is on with us this morning. I got Zaywert Franco Julian. Love saying that name. Josephine Bloss. Hey, Major Joe, how you doing? Jess Mendiola is online with us this morning, as is Roland Torres. Tanya Emmett Affligui Conception. If some of these names are sounding familiar and you're going, I wonder if, do me a favor, just get down there and write a message. Hey, is that you? Didn't we go to high school together? Didn't we bond in Vietnam once upon a time? Nick Perlowski's there. Debbie Kanata, Mingo, Rick Leon, Gwen Timinglo. I got Jeanette Suzuki. Nice to see you there. Daryl Taggarty say, buenas, let's talk. Okay, let's do this. Anthony Mendiola giggling about me actually saying Pornhub on the radio. There is a story. I don't have it on. I tried to print it out.
Is this about the Navy ship?
The Navy ship. It's supposed to be around here. It was like a ship or a submarine tender or something like that.
Yeah.
And somebody was doing surveillance of Navy guys getting dressed and undressed, and apparently that was like here. They were doing that stuff here, and then they uploaded it to Pornhub, and now the Navy officials, I'm told, are going crazy looking for the photographer and asking what's this all? What an unusual and interesting hobby that you have. Alex Affligui says Guam is low risk for coronavirus because we have a higher chance of getting infected by local politics. Too late. Put me in intensive care. Tanya Emmett Affligui Conception. Joe Henson is there, and what are we talking about? Emery Land is the name of the vessel, I believe. Cough into your elbows and hug somebody. That's how we want to do it. It's 6:27 in the morning, and plenty enough to talk about today, as usual. And we'll get to the usual rounds of political gossip and smart aleck comments that we're going to be having, as well as reactions from things that come to me from time to time. In my WhatsApp and online. And again, I think, one of the top stories is going to be Mike Sinicolas. And I don't know how this is going to get interpreted. There's people that, we absolutely love. Mike Sinicolas is crazy about what he's doing, and I like the way that he's just managed to completely disrupt and in some cases discombobulate the deep state Democrats that we have here on Guam. But I recognize that there are others that don't share the same feelings that I have for Congressman Sinicolas and are going, oh, this is just going to be sour grapes because he didn't get a war claims processing center set up. So he's going to be, what is it Carlo Branch referred to, lashes out when he's scared. Is this a case of Mike Sinicolas lashing out? Please be advised, the governor's war claims processing center is issuing slips of paper. I like the way he puts that. I guarantee that was intentional. I guarantee that's tactical. It's just slips of paper. It's like it's insignificant little pieces of paper for telling people that if they wanted, if they can't be helped over at the War Claims Processing Center, they ought to talk to him about expediting their war claims. This is not something the congressman is able to do. Quote, we have no ability to expedite war claims processing, and the governor knows this. It's actually pretty incredible that they are so willing to mislead the people in order to plow forward and save face, rather than just be honest and admit their process didn't include everyone, i.e. people in the states. The governor's D.C. liaison is the author that created the process, so they are fully aware that sending people to me to expedite them is actually just misleading them. We continue to work on H.R. 1365 and anticipate passage pending the conclusion of impeachment proceedings. Oh, we got to wait until that's done. I was kind of hoping that they were going to be able to break up their day over in the Senate. So, be morning. They would handle legislative work like seeing to the war claims that we've got here on Guam and a few of the other, maybe important things going on in the country. and then do the impeachment. But it sounds like they're doing wall-to-wall impeachment over in the Senate, and that's going to be slowing down the process for 1365. Oh, shucks darn. 6:30 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Again, that's the telephone number around here. You want a WhatsApp? I'd take your WhatsApp, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. There are already a couple of interesting things in my WhatsApp that I can share with you, and including an invitation to go hang out. Is that tonight? It's tonight, 6:30, over at the Tamuning Senior Citizen Center. Senator Jim Moylan's going to be having another one of those public safety forums. Again, 6:30 tonight at the Senior Citizen Center in Tamuning. If you are a resident of the village and tired of the crazy things that are going on just down the street from your place, now would be a great time to get in there. And try to come up with something different. In all of these little town halls that everybody's been having, it all comes to the same thing. We need more cops in the streets. We need more patrols. We need to get rid of these guys. And all, they know that already. So see if there's new things that you can come up with. In my mind, Tamuning, especially the intersection over by the ITC building, that is intersection central for all of the so-called homeless and beggars on the street. And I think it's a blight in this community. My guess is that a very, very small percentage of those people actually require some kind of assistance or another. I think the rest of them are they're just a bunch of people, and that's their scam to make money, is go stand out there and looking as downtrodden and poor as they can, holding signs. I'm sure there's got to be somebody that they're very, very close to that probably has one of these like sign resource centers going on. Are we going to do this? What are we going to do this on the bottom of a what kind of piece of cardboard we want here? Is this the one that we get from the Cost You Less? We're going to make this the bottom of the spam tray or something like that. And who here has got the best handwriting? Who's got the best? Which one of you has got a Sharpie to make this thing just bold and stand out in the streets? I'm sure they have these little get-togethers and meetings trying to decide all of those kinds of important details to try to scam as much money out of the drivers as possible. To ponder that, 6:32 in the morning, we'll talk about that and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues. But right now, it's time to jump into headlines with news now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Montecillo Tyron.
The man charged with the murder of a woman found in Tota this weekend is being held on $1,000 bail. 25-year-old Kettner Harry said he blacked out while chasing the woman after he assaulted her. He did admit to killing her. The woman identified as 37-year-old Luciana Polly, who was a homeless woman. There are no confirmed cases of coronavirus on Guam or in the CNMI. There was a bit of a scare yesterday when an internal memo was sent out from a local insurance company stating there was a confirmed case in Saipan. Public Health says Guam remains low risk for the virus, but people should take preventative measures. And Guam Congressman Mike Nicholas says the administration's diverting individual war claimants to his office. These claims they are apparently unable to help, stating that the congressman's office can help expedite the war claims. So Nicholas says this is not something he can do and cautions the administration not to mislead the war claimants. And these are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can log on to their website or pick up a copy of their paper. Their website is postguam.com.
6:33, that's iConnect time here at the radio station. Swing by or call iConnect at 888-8888 and ask them how they can save you money on mobile and internet and push-to-talk plans.
Half a day, I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero.
And I'm Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio.
If you survived the Japanese occupation during World War II, filed a claim under the World War II Loyalty Recognition Act, and received a letter from the Foreign Claims Settlement Commission saying you are entitled to receive monetary compensation, then you may have an adjudicated claim.
Bring your claim letter and a valid government ID to our Guam War Claims Processing Center at the old Hakubotan building in Tamuning, Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and we will help you process your claim. If you have any questions or would like to know more, call us at 472-8931 or visit our website at warclaims.guam.gov.
Getting to this point wasn't easy, and our work isn't over. But we are now beginning to heal old wounds and honor our greatest generation. And we say to those still alive to hear it, your long wait is over.
Thanks, Gov. 6:34. You don't have to wait forever. 888-825-5888-TALK. Need to save some money after spending for the holidays? Well, Wendy's can help with their $4 meal. They got chicken nuggets and fries and a drink. And that's 3 of the 4 items. Your choice now of a double stack, junior cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, or the JBC That's Montecillo Tyrant's family lingo for junior bacon cheeseburger rounds out the top 4. So 4 for $4. It is the best deal in town. Ask the people in the other fast food game, and they'll tell you, yeah, that's a good deal. Take it at Wendy's. Press. Just press the buttons. I'll just talk. What have we got here? I'm looking at traffic, the traffic gizmo today, and I'm not seeing any place where there's really any traffic problems. Got some intersection slowdowns in some of the usual spots up and down Marine Corps Drive, but it doesn't look like everybody has started leaving Gigo for the central and southern parts of the island just yet. Might see a little bit of traffic on Route 10. I'm sorry, this is Route 8 over at that one good intersection that gets you into Teebson. A little bit of traffic at 10 and 15, that intersection, and 15 and no, I'm sorry, that's the intersection leading into Ordot-Pago. All right, so watch out for a little bit of that. Getting into the downtown Agutnia area, no major problems. Big Navy is looking good, and so is Navy Hospital and the Guam High area in central Guam. 636, that's right now traffic on the point.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
22 minutes away from 7 o'clock in the morning. It's the Ray Gibson Show until, I don't know, what time we get off around here? About 10 o'clock, something like that. That's the way the game is played. Montecillo Tyrant going to be taking care of news all morning long. We've got headlines around the corner. We got news coming up. Jerry Robertson in the next hour of the program. Before I launch into anything else, let me just make sure I've got everybody all accounted for online here this morning and make sure that everybody that is on is mentioned here. I got Evergreen South. Kenley and Guerrero was saying our membership in the UNPO should protect the island from not coronavirus. It says any sense of reasonableness and sanity. There's Dave Torrey. John Bagaforo is online. Ismail says MAGA hot mess. Handing out Post-it notes. No, it's not Post-it notes. That almost elevates it to something that's got value. I mean, Post-it notes are in my opinion, one of the most incredible inventions of all time because you got the paper on one side and you got just enough sticky on the other to be able to post something somewhere. So in my mind, those things have got some kind of innate intrinsic value. But, you know, Michael Nicholas basically referring to them as slips of paper. He might as well have said scraps. He might as well just said scraps of paper that they're handing out at the War Claims Processing Center because he really dressed that down. But I hear what you're saying. Joe Blas online. I see who's it? Gus Castro Gisangas saying, have a day from Texas. Good to see you there. Sherry Iriarty, Anne-Marie Sablon Trousseau, Rich Divera, Melissa Salas Akimoto, Debbie Wise. Good morning to Landon Adlet, Richard Leon. And he's got a unique way. If you don't follow him up on Facebook, at least read what he's got to say around here. It's just the way that he kind of renames everybody, and I don't know. It's just it's kind of fun to see a little bit of that process. It doesn't refer to. He's not Tony Babauta. It's Bad Bauta, who is it? I'm not even sure how to pronounce that one. But anyway, find it online this morning. Mark Mendiola is there. Mark Mendiola, no longer the chair of the Guam Ed Board, apparently had an election. And our favorite, Maria Gutierrez, is, if I understand it correctly, is now the new boss of the elected school board, the Ed Board that we've got. And I'm glad because it seems to me that lady got some scrapper in her.
Well, Mark was my favorite.
Of all time?
Only because he's listening.
There we go. Oh, yeah, there, I see it. Oh, here's another one of our favorites. It's Valerie Blas from Guam Plaza in Tumon has got the radio and the video going this morning. Pat and Norma Jean Flores. It's Neets Maniari, Cody James, who is in charge of helping airplanes land here on Guam, and Senator Vince Borja. Well, I'm not Senator Vince Borja. Not senator yet. I don't even think he's declared yet. He's got the committee to draft and all of that stuff, and he actually was part of some headlines and news gathering yesterday. I should have somewhere in front of me. I should have a printout of a statement that he made yesterday. There it is. Statement from Vince Borja. After careful deliberation with friends and family, and you can go anywhere from there. You could Vince, if you wanted to, you could just leave it there, and then have have the viewer decide which way it wants to go. Do we want to go to the good statement, or do we want to go to the bad statement? In this case, it goes to the good statement. After careful deliberation with friends and family, especially those who've shared their confidence and certitude with me to aid our community as a public servant, I'd like to announce that I've tendered my resignation as an adjunct professor at the University of Guam this past Friday, the 24th. Furthermore, I'd like to announce that I will be officially seeking a seat as one of your representatives as senator in the 36th Guam legislature during the upcoming election. While I firmly believe that the actions that both myself and my supporters have taken thus far were above reproach, the last thing we need are assumptions shading a negative view on a campaign which is intended to take the high road and bring humility to the table. So I'm of two minds on that, Vince. I tell you right now, I'm of two minds. I bristle when I hear politicians and people running for office saying, I humbly ask for one of your 15 votes. I don't want you to be humble about that kind of thing. I want you to be aggressive. I want you to vote for me. I'm not going to humbly ask for anything, and I'm not going to, when I'm elected, I'm not going to be humble about fighting for you. But there is this part here that does ring true. Humility to the table. I am of the opinion that the 35th Guam legislature, more so than any other legislature, I think, in the past, just cannot seem to get over themselves. I just get this pomp and ceremony and marble tile in the bathroom feel about some of the members of this group. And so, yeah, maybe a little bit of humility at the table would be a good thing. You're not leaders. You are representatives, and act like you represent us. 642, what they did yesterday, I had to laugh out loud. Have you seen the legislative agenda? So one of the first items on the agenda, Montecillo Tyrant, is relative to expanding, enhancing, and implementing the public policy institute and program to encourage educational, political, and real work growth, as well as offer work experience. So it's another one of these kind of do-nothing things that we've got in the government of Guam, where they take high school students or students from school and
and have them fight crime.
No, they're not fighting crime.
Oh, darn.
Near as I can tell, they're not
need that.
helping the homeless or helping fix the lights over at the stadium. And apparently they won for a long time talking about this. Now, it's already, as I understand it, a law. It's already something that, what's her name, Judy Wanpat had in place. Judy Wanpat, that basically slavery and servitude for high school students that can't graduate unless they have the required number of service learning hours. That's the nice way of saying you can't graduate unless you are forced to volunteer for something, right? Mm-hmm. I see these kids sometimes at different kinds of events and things, and some of them are pretty gung-ho about what they're doing, because they bought into it. Then you get the others that are just sitting around bored, looking at their phones, waiting for something to do, waiting for it to end so that they can get the signature from whoever is in charge of service learning. There really sometimes isn't enough for these kids to do, but they've got to be out there. And so this is kind of another one of these kind of feel-good things. And let's get these kids aware and have them appreciate what it's like to be working in the bowels of government and helping us with research and helping us with this, that, and the other, and maybe being our butler and getting us water when we're dry, that kind of thing. And
shredding paper.
Shredding paper. Here, the Ray Gibson's got a survey up. Go click on this 100 times. Make us look good. So you got these guys that are out there doing this stuff, and they apparently spend a lot of time talking about now diversity in this group. Mm-hmm. Like first of all, like it makes any kind of difference whatsoever. And in my mind, Guam is but automatically the most diverse place on Guam. By virtue of the fact that anybody shows up to do anything, diversity is encouraged because we're not all the same color brown. We're not all the same color white. We're not the same color. Everybody has got everything in them one way or the other. And so I don't know that it needs to be encouraged. It's just kind of de facto. So sometimes I see those kinds of things and I go, wow, we must. How much time did they spend virtue signaling over at the legislature yesterday? And the answer is a long time. I ran into a member of the 35th Guam legislature, and he just had that look on in his face, like his eyeballs were tired from rolling around so much in his head. Just kind of, oh my God, roll my eyes. Here it comes again. 6:45 in the morning. So you get that, and good for you, Vince Bora, talking about humility. No longer working at the University of Guam as the adjunct professor, and I shared this on Facebook yesterday with a couple of people, and one of them said we need to figure out a way to do this so that regular folks, up to and including people in the education community, can run for political office. An adjunct professor, he said, is no threat to anybody with the layout of the Mini Hatch Act. It's not like an adjunct professor at the University of Guam holds all kinds of sway, all kinds of power of life or death over people in the university structure. So what difference would it make if he said, "Hey, I'm doing a fundraiser tonight," or I got a thing happening. So is it possible that we might be one of these days getting around to seeing our way past some of those questions? So give that some thought this morning and put it down on a slip of paper and send it to Mike St. and see what he's got to say about that. So we got Mike St. doing the say what, and a little bit later on we'll get some time with Daphne Shimizu. Tax filing season is now here. Apparently all of the upgrades that they needed to make the training and the implementation of significant new technology or whatever over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation has been done. So last week we had the guy, Robert, walking around from accounting, visiting everybody's desk, everybody's cubicle, everybody's little hutch. Here's your W-2s. And run off in the other direction. There he goes. What am I supposed to do with these? You put it up with all kinds of other. Generally the rule of thumb is if you make anywhere over about $55,000-$60,000 a year, you should probably take all of that paperwork, bank accounts, and statements and things like that. Take it to a certified public accountant and make their life hell, and have them figure it out. That's generally the best way to do it. They'll come back to you with some kind, with your actual 1040, your actual tax paperwork, your return, and you will sit there and you will hate it. You will absolutely hate it because it doesn't make any difference. I've never, ever been happy. And Daphne Shimizu used to be our accountant. It used to be the family accountant. And she's thorough and she's good. I mean, that's why they hired her at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. She's really good. And it didn't matter, whether, if you're paying, it hurts. And when you're getting a refund, that still hurts because it's never enough money. It's never enough. You just sit there and go, why can't this number be higher on the refund side? How is it possible? I tried to do everything right. I thought I had my exemptions all strategic with the accounting department, and I thought we had all of the right investments made and all the right conversations, and it still came out, nope, you owe, or nope, here's your refund, and the refund is negligible. Never mind, just sign that into accredited against next year's taxes. Because it's just like that. Well, we get to go and have that conversation again between now and the actual deadline that is April the 15th. It moves around from time to time, but it's going to be April the 15th this year is going to be the tax filing deadline. So if you've got the paperwork together, my suggestion is that you start putting it together. And if you can go over to the Department of Revenue and Taxation with your W-2 and a simple 1040 form and deposit that into place, go for it. But it will not get you your tax refund any faster. What? Because it starts the clock starts tolling, as they say, on April the 15th. So it just means that you are going to be, if you put it in tomorrow, if you went and took your tax return in tomorrow, it doesn't mean that you're first in. Everybody on April 15th is first in.
And I should have gave my W-2 to BJ yesterday.
You should have. You should. Beach? Nino, call him Nino BJ. He likes that. Nino Beach, could you take care of this? Could you drop this off and see where maybe they can get me some dough on this? Steve Klein saying good morning online. Ike Iseki is there. Hey, happy belated birthday to you, Ike. I'm trying to remember a birthday that you and I had in Saipan. Do you remember that? Was it in May of 85, maybe 86. We were it's one of there's a bunch of old cable guys, hit radio guys, and it's one of our favorite stories. Was before there was a McDonald's in Saipan. It's almost Kenjo here. There was no McDonald's in Saipan, right? So we did this. Pac-Man and Davina and Ernie and I want to say we all went up there and flew up literally a plane load of McDonald's employees and cheeseburgers and Big Macs and quarter pounders and McDonald's fries and flew that up to Saipan. We went to not the Memorial Park. We went to a baseball field by the church down in Susupi and just had a blast. Had a blast with it. The Saipanese coming and buying cheeseburgers by the bag full because they didn't have them. It was one of those things. While McDonald's comes up to Saipan, it's like a test market thing, and we had a great time. And one of the rare cases, one of the things that we did there was it was maybe the only time that we sold Pepsi instead of Coca-Cola with McDonald's food because the Coca-Cola people couldn't supply us for the crowd that we needed. But the Pepsi guys said, yeah, we got you covered. So we poured Pepsi in Coca-Cola cups. That's the way we did that. But what a great time that was. Had a great time goofing off with them with the rest of the trip. Fun. You don't hear, I don't think people do that kind of thing anymore. I think, we got into a time in the 2020s or 2010s where you just go, wow, that's a lot of trouble. They got airplane rides and cargo.
They have fast food there. I just don't remember what they have.
They got Taco Bell. They got KFC. There's McDonald's down in Middle Road. That's a good place to go. There used to be there might still be. It's been a while since I've been up there, but I know that there was a Wendy's on Beach Road that you could pull into and enjoy.
But they have a Jay's coffee shop or something like that. It's like our equivalent to Shirley's. It's so good.
Well, they've got a Shirley's. I mean, there is a Shirley's there. You can go to.
Jay's is incredible. It's like we went.
Is that the one up on the hill? You got to drive a little bit out of town and go climb a hill.
I have no idea.
I think that's their Linda's.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. We were there for like 3 days, and I swear I ate there at least 6 times.
I know how you feel. It's 6:51 in the morning, and I've been talking about the press release that came out, the statement that came out from soon-to-be Senator, because I'm that confident in him, soon-to-be Senator Vince Borja. Good morning, Vince. How you doing there?
Good morning, Ray. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. See, you already sound humble.
Yeah, I just came from running, running on the road.
Right. Okay. Running for office and literally running down the road. You know what? You'll need it. And take it from Mata here, who's actually sat in the senatorial chair. You will need the stamina to survive the rigors of the election process. And you've already managed to make it through one of them, the meet the media portion of an election campaign.
Yes, I've been how do you say it? I've been inaugurated.
Inaugurated.
Yeah,
Hi, hey, Chris Barnett here. Frankly, I was surprised that didn't come from Troy Torres first, because you'll recall that Troy went after. I don't want to say he went after, but he pointed out many Hatch Act violations with Andre Bainham once upon a time when Andre wasn't running for office, but he was part of a crew that was trying to get Frank Uggan elected governor. But welcome to it. You've met the media, and here we are. So. As I suppose as a result of the scrutiny and maybe a pass at the law here, you guys have decided that it would be in your best interest and everybody's best interest if you step down as an adjunct professor.
Yes, but that wasn't necessarily I guess that's not what kind of pushed the decision, because initially when all of that came out, the university came back and was like, okay, if this is what your intentions are, enjoy the rest of the semester. And then, of course, like the next couple of days, because it was like, I think the week before, and then Monday, Tuesday, we were kind of going through the motions, waiting for the university to come back in response to the media inquiry. And then, of course, sat on it in a couple of days on really what it is that, what is it, or should I continue to pursue, or what should I continue, but whether or not I should, really look into whether or not that's what I wanted to do. Initially when I got excited and I did it, and then I pushed, I decided to step back, was I was already committed to teach the semester. My commitment for me, it was always been about commitment. I committed to teach. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to stick to this. That's not something that I initially had planned for the first part of the year. And so, that's what I was going to do. But of course, after, the committee to draft kept coming back and saying, this is probably, think about it, because, the time, like maybe you should make that decision now. And so on Friday, talking to a couple.
But there was no pressure. Let me, for clarity, though, Vince, there was no pressure from the university for you to step down. My understanding is they had not even identified. They had not determined that you were campaigning.
Yeah, they came back and said, you know what, if you're not campaigning right now, good luck and enjoy the rest of the semester. And,
okay.
And then it just moved over to, okay, now what do I really want? Because I can't have both. That was the thing. It was, my fiance and I talked, and I was like, okay, this is something you're passionate about, both of them. But here's the thing, you can't have both, no matter what, right? Even if when you decide, you still can't do that. And so for me, my life has always been about service and how trying to help other people. And so, it's I've always been, okay, how can I make an impact, big or small, right? And it's the opportunity just from the amount of support that I've received over the last 2 weeks, especially when I hit the media, it was okay. I felt, I felt a little bit more confident, and I felt like, okay, maybe this is my calling.
I was delighted. Just
that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I was delighted because we get a new Republican face in the mix, and I think there's I think going to be a strong desire from among many voters to make some changes over at the legislature. I don't know that there's a lot of people that are very satisfied with the Democrat majority.
You know what I did to solidify my decision? And I did this all on my own. As I sat in my car, actually, in the parking lot at the University of Guam, I went and I looked back on, I went to the YouTube channel for the legislature, and I went back to, specific issues that I was kind of, that I was following, and I would just, sit there and listen to, or try to fast forward through some of the stuff that, our current leaders would say or justify why they stand in support, or I stand, I like to commend and, the proffer of this amendment. And I think that sometimes, I'm not going to say that, well, I'm going to try and be nice.
Oh, can I say it? Can I say it? Sometimes they're way benidosu. They're up there. Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of my colleague from Zotnia's resolution to reaffirm the dignity of the hardworking resolution, blah, 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 blah.
But true story, I went and watched
yes,
YouTube. And
it's real.
I was fired up, and I was like, you know what? I can do this.
You can.
I want to do this.
That's kind of the thing. Hey, there's a big push for a part-time legislature. Is that something that you're looking forward to pushing on day number 1 of the 36th Guam legislature?
I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing some research on it, and I see how it works. Obviously, there's pros and cons to it. I can't really answer that question right now. Depending on. I guess, truly understanding, because again, right, we look, a lot of the research is based on bigger states and bigger communities, or even smaller communities. So I don't, for me, and this is not as a professor, but just as a researcher, I like to make decisions based on data, and things that make sense. But I'm not there yet. I don't initially, when it was introduced a couple of years ago, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. The people it'll encourage more people to come out, right? It's the same thing like at the university, a lot of business professors, and we want more business professors who are in the profession to come in and teach business, but it's just not, it's not something business people want to do full time.
Because already got full-time job is running radio stations and being adjunct professors and running businesses all over the island is not necessarily an opportunity. It doesn't lead itself.
From that perspective, I support that from that angle. Because if they could do it part-time and still go and run their businesses, yeah, of course, some people will say, well, yeah, they're going to come in and speak, push their personal agenda. That's not necessarily true.
Well, what prevents anybody from doing that in the full-time legislature? I mean, the same thing happens.
There are a lot of non-business people that push their personal agenda,
Absolutely.
whether it be for their business or personal interest.
Hey, this is going to be a fun conversation, but we'll have to break it up over time. So, Vince, I appreciate your time this morning, and I'll see you out there doing some running before too much longer. I forget which 5Ks are lined up this week, but it's a good place to go and get petitions signed. You have a great day. I'll see you soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, there's the candidate, Vince Borja. He's official now. He's officially come out and said he's done it. And to remove any shade of negative view on the campaign, he has stepped down as an adjunct professor at the University of Guam. So There it is. There's the initial sacrifice for somebody that wants to be an elected representative for you. I suppose that's a check mark number one on my list. 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. I got you. Stand by. Fox News Live coming up here in just a second. Then we're going to hear from Montesilva Tyrant with a look at all of the big stories from today's Guam Daily Post. That's ahead. This is The Point.
This is a Fox News alert. The president's defense and Lisa Brady. In day 2 of their arguments, President Trump's legal team says there were no grounds for impeachment because he did nothing wrong.
Acting under his constitutional authority, under his legal authority, in our national interest, and pursuant to his oath of office.
Lead attorney Jay Sekulow also says they won't address speculation. This after reports that former National Security Advisor John Bolton contradicts the president in an upcoming book about why Ukraine aid was withheld. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
The president tweeting, "I never told John Bolton that the aid to Ukraine was tied to investigations into Democrats, including the Bidens. In fact, he never complained about this at the time of his very public termination. If John Bolton said this, it was only to sell a book," and the president reiterating that point earlier at the White House.
I haven't seen a manuscript, but I can tell you nothing was ever said to John Bolton, but I have not seen a manuscript. I guess he's writing a book. I have not seen it.
2 Republican senators, Susan Collins of Maine and Mitt Romney of Utah, said today that the new revelations from Bolton bolstered their case for summoning witnesses during the impeachment trial. Lisa?
Thanks, John. The U.S. still has 5 confirmed cases of the new coronavirus, but other possible patients are still being evaluated.
To date, we have 110 of what we are calling persons under investigation, or PUIs, from 26 states. This is a cumulative number and will only increase.
The CDC's Dr. Nancy Messonnier, as China continues efforts to try to stop the spread of the virus, which has killed at least 81 people there, sickening nearly 3,000 now in 16 countries, and concern about that virus getting much of the blame for a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow down 444 points at the closing bell. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, welcome to this ad for new Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. How do you want it?
Cheer squad. Woo! Go Subway sliders starting at $1.99 each. Woo! Give me a ham and jack slider.
Ham and jack slider.
Give me an Italian spice slider.
Italian spice slider.
What's that spell?
It doesn't really spell anything.
New Subway sliders starting at $1.99 each. Go sliders!
Subway, make it what you want.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Just getting reports that 3 bodies have been recovered from the helicopter crash site where Kobe Bryant, the former NBA star, died yesterday. This coming from the LA County Coroner's Office, and that the search continues for more remains. 9 in all were killed in that crash yesterday. The NTSB investigating, and one of the things they're focusing on is whether foggy conditions may have been a factor. A deadly shooting outside a courthouse in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Several people injured.
Police say the 4 victims were shot as they sat in a car outside the courthouse. 4 people are said to be in custody. Investigators are still seeking a motive, but according to Mayor Joe Ganim,
this was not a random act of violence. It seems like it was targeted.
Police say a murder Sunday night may be connected. Bridgeport Police Chief Armando Perez says his officers will be out and ready to stop further violence.
Tonight, this city is going to be locked out, and we're going to protect the good people who live in this city.
Police say they hope to stop a trend they see of teens using guns to settle disputes. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Clothing chain H&M expressing honest regret after a probe of privacy breaches.
The most intimate details of your life. Have a little trouble with your bladder or your boyfriend? A cancer scare no one knows about? A family feud? Who knows? The Swedish retailer H&M knows, with a German privacy watchdog investigation into evidence that H&M committed massive data protection breaches by spying on its customer service reps in Germany. Superiors at the site in Nuremberg kept detailed and systematic records about employees' health and private lives. The records accessible to all company managers, with employees comprehensively spied on in a way that's unparalleled in recent years, says the German government.
Fox's Therese Crowley. The investigation continues, recapping the sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq all down over 1%. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
We understand what matters to you because at Docomo Pacific, we're a family too. With the Now Family program, mom, dad, and kids stay connected on the latest devices the whole family can enjoy. For just $155 a month, get 3 lines with 30 gigs of 4G LTE data each, and endless use of your favorite apps without affecting your monthly data bucket. Add more, get more, save more. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Denny's is making lunchtime a little more special. Every Monday through Friday, they serve a variety of local favorite soups, such as chicken adobo on Mondays, oxtail soup on Tuesdays and Thursdays, chicken tinola on Wednesdays, and pork synagogue on Fridays, while supplies last. All orders are served with rice. Senior citizens get a special menu, which includes a free soup or salad. Make Denny's your new lunch spot, located in Tumuning and the Micronesia Mall.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
7 o'clock news brought to you by Horizon Properties.
It's 7:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Police will await the results of an autopsy to confirm the cause of death, and they'll continue to investigate the murder of a woman found dead in Totu. A 25-year-old man was arrested yesterday in connection with that murder. Cadner Harry is being held on $100,000 bail. Harry now faces charges of murder and aggravated assault. 37-year-old Luciana Pauli was found dead in a grassy area along Chalon Ramirez. Police noted that she was found partially naked and had massive bruising to her face and her eyes swollen shut. It was through the help of surveillance video taken at a nearby mobile gas station that they were able to identify the woman and the man that she was with. Detectives were able to locate Harry at his Barragata home. Police Chief Steve Ignacio says the two were acquaintances. Harry telling police that he was asleep in his car when Polly woke him up by pouring beer on him, and he became angry and punched her several times in the face. He then blacked out while chasing her and couldn't remember the details, but he did admit to knowing that he killed Polly. Polly is said to have been a homeless woman. War claimants who can't be helped at the recently opened processing center are being sent to the congressman's office, but Mike St. says his office isn't able to expedite those claims. In a press release, St. states the governor's war claim processing center is issuing slips of paper to constituents they are unable to help, telling them to contact the congressman to expedite their war claim processing. The release states that this is not something that his office is able to do, adding it's actually pretty incredible that they're so willing to mislead the people in order to plow forward and save face rather than just be honest and admit that their process didn't include everyone. St. Nicholas says they are fully aware that sending people to him to expedite them is actually just misleading them, and the congressman says they will continue to work on H.R. 1365 and anticipates passage pending the conclusion of the impeachment proceedings. Well, there was a bit of a scare yesterday when an internal memo was issued from an insurance company, circulated throughout the social media, stating that there was a confirmed coronavirus case in the CNMI. But local officials say the claim was completely false and there are no reported or confirmed infections on Guam or in Saipan. The Saipan government did send test results from a family of 5 who arrived at the airport with flu-like symptoms. The test ruled out coronavirus and showed that the family had a simple flu. Guam Department of Public Health, meanwhile, says that Guam is at low risk, but the situation can evolve quickly, and people are urged to exercise caution and take preventative action. We'll have more news right after this.
Rent, lease. What does Horizon do for you? Here's a clue. Advertising, marketing, screening, inspecting, instructing, leasing and signing, collecting and complying, inquiring and assessing, coordinating, repairing, renewing, enforcing, evicting, moving, cleaning, rekeying, communicating. Do it yourself and you'll find it taxing. We work hard to keep the vacancies low, so at the end of the month, you collect the dough. Proven and trusted. Horizon Properties. We do it all. 777-7792.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Over $1 million in tax refunds for returns filed in August of last year will be sent out this week by Revan Tax. This while Director Daphne Shimizu confirms her agency is ready to accept individual and corporate income tax returns for the new tax season. The Department of Administration will mail out 176 tax refund checks this week, and that includes refunds garnished to pay government debts or error-free returns filed on or before August 3rd. Jason Duenas Asperer could be tried a second time after the Supreme Court of Guam overturned his conviction of sexual assault in October of last year. Asperer successfully appealed his convictions on charges of first, third, and fourth degree criminal sexual conduct, but the court upheld his convictions of child abuse and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to deliver because of the overwhelming evidence of guilt on these charges. Prior to the High Court ruling, Asperer had been sentenced to 15 years in prison for sexually molesting a boy who has a developmental disability and forcing the minor to smoke meth in 2015. Asper appeared on Monday before Superior Court of Guam Judge Vern Paris for a resentencing hearing. Assistant Attorney General Woodrow Pelgally told the court on Monday that the prosecution might retry the case. Defense attorney Steve Hattori asked the court to delay the sentencing for several weeks. He's scheduled to be back in court on March 2nd. And senators will be in session today, and there are a couple of public hearings on the calendar, also in a town hall meeting tonight. Of the hearings, one by the Committee on Public Safety, chaired by Senator Pito Talahi. 3 bills that will be heard deal with the mayor's vacancies and the appointments of municipal councils. The bills introduced primarily to address the lack of a mayor in Jotnya after Mayor Jesse Blas was arrested, and he remains in jail. That hearing will be at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. Also this evening, another public safety town hall meeting with Senator Jim Moylan. Moylan going to village to hear public concerns on safety and to discuss some of the bills that he's introduced. Tonight's town hall will be at 6:30 in the Tumuning Senior Citizen Center in Tumuning. And those are some of your top stories. Here now is Ray with your weather.
I got you. Let me see here. Mostly cloudy this morning, breezy, some scattered to light showers. Expected northeast winds 15 to 25 miles an hour, gusting to 35. Daytime highs today about 85 degrees, mostly cloudy with isolated showers. More northeast winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, and overnight lows of about 76 degrees. Sunrise this morning was at 6:48. Should be about the same time tomorrow. And sunset tonight should be at about 6:19 or so. So round up the usual suspects and see if we can turn tonight sunset hunting into a big celebration. 7:13, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
Gotcha. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by a whole bunch of people, including the guys over at Wendy's. 444, starting with chicken nuggets, fries, and a drink. And your choice of the double stack junior cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, or junior bacon cheeseburger. That rounds out that 4 for $4 special that you can only find over at Wendy's. The Ray Gibson Show also being brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty care needs out there. Folks at American President Lines, APL Global Presence with a local home. Guys at Nanbo Insurance asking if you've got a hybrid car, get it insured today at Nanbo Insurance. You can get up to $350 towards your next power bill. How's that work out? Well, terms and conditions apply. Call 477-9754, and they'll be happy to give you all of the rest of the details. Program's also brought to you by Denny's. Try some of their top 5 local favorites: Tapa and Eggs, Island Slam, Island Plate, Buffalo Wings Dinner, and Sirloin Tips waiting on you on the menu at Denny's. It's 7:14.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7:15 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Standing by for communications from Congressman Mike St. Nicholas out in Washington, D.C. He had earlier sent a press release basically talking about worthless pieces of paper being distributed over at the War Claims Distribution Point that we've got set up over here at Hakubotan. As we heard from Tony Babauta yesterday, there are quite a number of people that are coming in there, some with the adjudicated letters that would allow them the opportunity to begin signing paperwork over so that the government of Guam is now responsible for their payment and then would be repaid later on by the Treasury of the United States of America. But there are also quite a number of people that are coming in without adjudication letters. And for those people, it looks like they are being told by the War Claims Processing team, here's Mike St. Nicholas's phone number. Call him. Reach out to him in Washington, D.C., and maybe him going to be able to hook you up with an expedited war claims process. Mike St. Nicholas says, I can't actually do that. There is no mechanism for any kind of expediting the war claims from Washington, D.C. I think this might be him on the line. Good morning. Is this Congressman Mike St. Nicholas?
Good morning, Ray.
How you doing there, buddy?
I'm okay. I just landed out here, so I'm kind of just trying to reorientate myself to what side is up and what side is down in the world. But I'm doing okay.
Okay, so you're back in D.C. Now, where were you?
I was in Guam for a couple of days, and then I'm back out here now.
You didn't call. We could have totally beer summited, bro. What is that? Come on.
You know, when I was actually in Guam, I got sick. I got sick, and I wasn't able to really do a lot of stuff during the day, and then I had commitments that I had to take care of at night, and so it was one of those things where I was just really trying to just hold the fort while I was in town. I will be back in a couple of days, maybe around the 1st of February to the 4th, and then the 14th of February to the 23rd. So I'll be there. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get together. That sounds like a couple of things that I should be able to hook up with you maybe Sunday or something like that. We just see if we can work our personal calendars together and see what happens with that. But anyway, good to talk to you. Hope it's just regular boogers and not coronavirus. I know that you guys in D.C. have got to be watching that very, very critically these days.
Everyone's definitely keeping an eye on it, but as far as what I have, I actually caught it way before coronavirus started coming out. So I'm relieved that I've been sicker longer.
than the disease that everybody is talking about these days. I got you. 7:17. So like I said, first thing I saw this morning as I was going through my correspondence was a note from you to virtually everybody around here indicating that they were, you are calling it, referring to it as misleading some of these folks in the war claim side with slips of paper that say, for expedited war claims, please contact the congressman. You're not in a position to do anything about expediting any war claims, are you?
No, I can't expedite any war claims. And we found this out in a very rude way when our phone lines pretty much started blowing up. Our hotline, which has been dormant since we've gotten it open. We opened this hotline back last year when some media personalities are trying to make it seem like we're inaccessible. all of a sudden the hotline started blowing up. We're like, wow, where's our number? Where's this coming from? And then our staff the next day in the district office began informing us that people are just walking into the office with slips of paper from the governor's folks saying, hey, we went to Hakabotan and we were trying to figure out when we're going to get our war claim, and they're telling us to come down here so Congressman St. Nicholas can expedite you. And that's, first of all, we can't expedite anybody. And secondly, even if they got their claim processed, the way the governor's MOA is written is anybody after January 18th is not considered a part of the MOA. So, it's a real big misdirection that they're being given, and it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help them to have a reasonable set of expectations, and it doesn't help our office to be able to focus on the business at hand. And we're being inundated by people who are looking for answers because they're being misled.
Wait, it's 7:19. So wait a moment. You mentioned something that I was heretofore unaware of. So the MOU date is January the 18th. Anyone who comes in with an adjudicated claim after the 18th, does their claims do not apply under the current MOA?
From what I recall reading in the MOA, it was specifically for all adjudicated claims on or before January 18th, 2020.
But the claims process, the review process, the adjudication process continues, does it not?
It does, but they're not a part of the governor's local program.
So what happens to them?
They're going to have to just wait.
Wait out 1365 then.
Yeah. Right. Wait for me to, solve the problem.
So yeah, I was gonna say. So now we have two classes of claimants: the pre-18th and the post-18th.
Yeah, the pre-18th, get the post-18th, get the living and the dead.
What about the ones prior to the 18th that don't live on Guam? How are they? Are you aware of how they might be able to take advantage of the war claims process? I know I'm asking the wrong guy, but I'm going to ask if you know.
Yeah, no, we have no knowledge of that, and that's another sad story because a lot of them are reaching out to us because we're in the same time zone, and they're basically saying, Congressman, I've been calling. When we heard about this whole process, we've been calling our congressmen in our district, telling them they better support it, and so a lot of them are kind of brokenhearted hearing that there's a process that's currently allowing for certain individuals to.
Well, the ones here, but I mean, there's people in the states with adjudicated claims that are unable for whatever reason to be able to take advantage of the process here.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. Some of the ones that have been calling us saying, we have our letters, what do we do? And we're definitely referring them down to AdLoop. We're saying, you got to call the governor's office. They're the ones that put this process in place, but we're not quite sure what kind of special accommodations they're going to provide you being so far away. So we're giving them the contacts, but as of right now, I don't quite know what's in place for them.
Well, it might be a case where they're going to have to wait out 1365 as well. I'm a little bit disappointed. One of the last statements that you make in your release this morning is that we're going to have to wait through the conclusion of the impeachment proceedings before they go back to work on legislative activities. Yeah,
we were notified that the decision was to just plow through impeachment and suspend all legislative business until they get through it.
So, any idea when the impeachment is going to end? Do we have any idea? Well, they're just going to keep going until Trump gives up because that's not going to happen.
Well, at this juncture, I'm hoping it ends much, much sooner than later.
I got you. All right, well, perhaps there'll be more information coming along, but the notice needs to go out to anybody that has gotten a piece of paper redirecting their activities and suggestions for an expedited claim. You're holding a worthless piece of paper. There's nothing that Michael's office can do here, nothing that Michael's office can do in Washington, D.C.
And really, there's nothing that we have anything to do with this local process. So anything that anyone's informed of with respect to this local process that the governor is initiating, that would be false information. We have absolutely no hand in this process.
All right, keep all the inquiries to AdLoop and see if you can get satisfaction from there. Mike, I'll talk to you pretty soon. I'll see you next week, maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, right.
Groovy.
Sounds good.
All right, Beer Summit, 888-825-5888-TALK. And Beer Summit's not something new that Mike and I are doing. We've been doing Beer Summits since as long as this guy has been a member of the legislature. I like to see what his process is like over in the legislature, and he likes to see what the perspective is that I have sitting in a chair with a microphone attached to it. 888-825 is the telephone number. Thoughts on that? You can stick those on Facebook Live and all of that, and some interesting ones that are coming through right about now as we have the conversation. I'd asked about him. He sounded like he was a little bit under the weather. He says it's not the coronavirus, and boy, I tell you, that's going to be good news because the coronavirus is putting a hurt on people. And if you're going, well, so far it hasn't affected me. If you have any investment accounts that are indexed or tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the NASDAQ, or any of the other American markets, yeah, it has. Most of the markets are down. Coronavirus is prompting all kinds of people to worry a little bit more, sell things off, and we've got some interesting stories about that we can talk about in just a little bit. But the Dow is had its worst day since October and has turned negative as the fears of coronavirus managed to grow. So S&P 500 down by 51 points to close at 3243. NASDAQ at 9139. They're up by 175 points. And it's a big number for the Dow. 453 points down to close back under 29,000. It's 28,536. Even Trump can't beat the coronavirus. It has everybody's attention. And a question that, well, they give me the numbers on West Texas. West Texas is falling. It has nothing to do with coronavirus, but West Texas now, the other day, Friday, traded at $56.69. Yesterday, $54.19.
And today,
$52.88. Yeah. It's stumbling down fast.
I can feel that power bill just getting ready to drop.
You know, we've had that before. The LIAC has gone backwards in the past. Yeah, so it's possible that, as we watch the 10-day average decline, maybe somebody over at the CCU and the PUC and the Guam Power Authority might say, maybe it's time we'll take a look at February numbers, March numbers, and see what we've got with that. I don't have any change. Numbers for Tapas are frozen right now, but that's okay because it's under $70 for a barrel of Tapas, or was yesterday, $69.02. Now, a question that somebody had asked me, and I thought this is an important thing, and there are a lot of companies that will not have a coronavirus plan. If it came to bullets, talk to your HR guy this morning, do you have a coronavirus plan? What happens, as an example, you got doing business with an outfit in China, maybe relatively close to Wuhan, maybe down the street from Wuhan, I don't know. But you're doing some traveling in a country that has the coronavirus. You come back and you got the sniffles. Okay, what do we do now with you, Mr. Executive or Administrative Manager or something like that? There are companies that have already pondered this and have put together a number of solutions. First, the basic ones. Just everybody in the office, let's all agree that this is the way we're going to handle it on a going-forward basis. Good personal hygiene. Use tissues when you sneeze or cough, and then throw the tissues away immediately. Don't leave them laying around. Wash your hands frequently with soap. Wash off the dirt on the hands, under fingernails, between your fingers, all of that. If you've got a fever, cough, or runny nose, wear a mask. Consult a doctor immediately. Be sure to call the clinic in advance before you head down to inform them that you've got symptoms and possible travel history. Where have you been? Avoid crowded places and contact with anyone who is unwell. Avoid consumption of raw food and contact with live animals such as poultry and birds. And if you've recently come back from travel, monitor your health closely for a couple of weeks following your return. So that's the basic stuff that goes out for everybody. But for employees that are required by employers to stay at home for reasons that are attributable to work, i.e., you got to stay at home for a period and check your symptoms as they are suggesting. They are suggesting that employers should continue to pay them their salaries during their period of absence and to minimize work disruptions. Are you set up for telecommuting?
Well, that's the other thing you want to say. Do you have to go there?
Mm-hmm. If you don't need to be at work, then don't be at work. Frankly, if something bad happened to me, we've got the systems in place. I could do this program from virtually anywhere on the planet, including my house on the couch in my underwear. But we're not going to go there this morning. The technology is there. Are there opportunities for people to do their telecommuting meeting with other employees in the business so that at least you've got some semblance of moving forward? The team can still work together.
Well, telecommuting also, I mean, let's take it to the basics. Do you have to go to Asia at this point? Is there something you can do with teleconferencing? I mean, do you actually have to go at this point until we know more? And the other thing is, we've been down this road before. SARS, the bird flu, and the rest of it. I mean, these plans have been in place before. So dust them off.
That's great ideas. But here's the thing: is the old timers like you and me might know how to do all of this stuff because we've been down this road before. But there's a lot of new managers, a lot of new graduates from the business school at the University of Guam, are kind of scratching their head, and this is the first time they've ever heard about a flu that actually kills people that can get it. The good news I was reading yesterday. Is so far some of the mortalities that we're seeing are older folks with compromised systems, comorbidities, and things like that. Only about a quarter of the people that will get SARS, the coronavirus, based on what we know today, only a quarter of them are ever going to get sick enough to actually have to go to the hospital. So all of the standard precautions to prevent getting boogers, put all of those things in place immediately. Department of Public Health put out a release the other day. You should be able to find it online, and it might be worth printing up and posting up in all kinds of places in the office where the employees might congregate just to get things started.
Yeah, and it may seem silly to have to post rules and regulations about keeping your hands clean and various things that would be second nature to most people. But in a workplace, you don't know what kind of standards people have sometimes. So you have to do those things. Post them up everywhere you can, in the restrooms, everywhere, in the kitchen, at the front door, wherever you want to put them.
James Howard says, wrong. Jerry, this is a whole new beast, sorry to say. He's recommending wash up to your elbows for 30 seconds with hot water, 120 degrees, and yes, with soap. And a note from Rudy Magallanes, who's trying to avoid the whole conversation. Bitcoin is up to 8,900. Gotcha. 7:30 in the morning. Can we do Mana in the headlines before?
Absolutely.
We jump into Jerry Roberts. Got headline news. Daphne Shimazu from the Department of Revenue and Taxation in just a little bit. 7:30 news here brought to you by Auntie Lolita Camet of Remax Diamond Realty for all your real estate needs. Give her a ring. Loli Camet's number is 688-6743. Once again, 688-6743. Now with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Montecilva Tyron.
Guam Congressman Mike St. Nicholas says the administration's diverting individual war claimants to his office. These claims they are apparently unable to help, stating the congressman's office can help expedite these claims. But St. Nicholas says this isn't something that he can do and cautions the administration not to mislead anyone. His office has nothing to do with the local process, he says. The man charged with the murder of a woman found in Toto this weekend is being held on $100,000 bail. 25-year-old Kedner Harry said he blacked out while chasing the woman after he assaulted her. He did admit to killing her. The woman has been identified as 37-year-old Luciana Polly, who was a homeless woman. And a public hearing will be held today on 3 bills that deal with the mayor's vacancies and appointments to municipal councils. The bill introduced primarily to address the lack of a mayor in Jotnya after Jesse Bloss was arrested. He remains in jail. Tonight's hearing will be at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can pick up a copy of the paper or log on to the website at postguam.com.
I got you. 7:31 in the morning. Are you going to be able to take it all the way through here?
What do you mean, sir?
I got to do iConnect time, and then the traffic, and then Jerry Roberts. We'll go into Jerry Roberts after the iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and give him a jiggle, 888-825-5888-TALK, and see about saving money on things that you use all the time, mobile, internet, even push-to-talk plans. It's 7:32 in the morning, and that is iConnect time. Chirp, chirp. We'll pretend to chirp. Jerry Roberts now with the Extra Point, brought to you by Guahana Insurance Services and the team over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
It's one of the most valuable questions we can ever ask ourselves in our career and the rest of life, too. But our ego rarely allows us to do it. Today, I'll ask that question and see how you feel about it. That's next on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahana Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
How many times have you given your thoughts or opinions on a topic and the person you presented to doesn't seem to pick up on the point or the points you made? Then you thought to yourself, why doesn't he get it? I mean, this is a person of average or perhaps better than average intelligence, and they seem to understand what you're talking about. How could they miss this? Maybe you're asking the wrong question. Maybe the question should be, why don't I get it? A word of warning. We have now entered into the personal limitations and biases zone, and few of us ever want to be here. This is the place that requires us to acknowledge that we have limitations, and that includes limited understanding of things. It also is where we have to face up with our beliefs and how they may have been formed. Up to now, all we had to do was silently put the blame on the other person for being clueless, and that was easy. The moment we begin to concede that maybe, just maybe, it's us who doesn't understand, all that goes out the window, because we're never going to label ourselves as being clueless. In our case, it must have been a misunderstanding. Have you ever had someone suggest you weren't seeing things clearly, that you had a blind spot? I don't have a blind spot. I'm seeing this with crystal clarity, you barked. Well, maybe you did have a blind spot, and your bias didn't allow you to recognize it. When I believe something, you might say, well, that's Jerry's opinion. However, when you believe something, to you, it's the truth. Think about it. Isn't that the way it really is? Now, what if we're both right and both own a piece of the truth? Shouldn't we examine that possibility first before drawing a line in the sand and letting our egos take over? Do you recall when the internet exploded over the photo of a dress with the question asking what color it was? Hundreds of millions of people around the world split into two groups. One said the dress was blue with black stripes, and the other said it was white with gold stripes. Who was right? Well, actually, both of them. It turned out it had to do with how the brain perceived color in different lighting conditions. We see things differently because we have unique biases based upon different factors we've experienced on the road to being us. That's our life, and every bit of it went into making me who I am and you who you are. If we don't agree, it's not because we set out to do that. It's because that's the way it ended up. The only valid question now is that since we know we have a problem, what can we do together to deal with it? Workplace differences, polarized political viewpoints, relationships gone off the tracks. What if you said to the other person, you and I see this issue from different angles. Why don't we sit down and consider our respective positions to see if we can find something that we can agree upon, find some common ground. It's not as much fun as calling somebody clueless, but it just might be a bit more productive. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
The world is flat. Read a book. Get a book here. Have you ever read books? They're in libraries. Have you ever heard of it? The world is flat. Don't you know? I've heard people. I love the arguments. I love the debates. Just that much. That much fun. On the other hand, there's you get to a point, I suppose, at a certain age where you realize that there's just going to be an exchange of hot air, and it probably isn't going to be worth it at the end. So just I'll walk away. I've done that at things. I've sit around and get into conversations with people and go, you know what? I'm having a really good time at this cocktail party, gala function, whatever, and it sounds like I'm talking work. So I'm going to break away from this conversation. We'll get together again soon and finish it up.
That's
but not a conversation that I want to have right about now.
That's called emotional intelligence, sir.
That's right. No need to stick around there. Jerry Roberts, my emotional intelligence coach, and if you want information on coronavirus and things like that, he's a guy that you can talk to as it relates to what kind of plans you need to have at the office. I think that's important. He's not the HR guy, but he might be able to point the HR guy in the right direction, especially if it's a new HR guy, as in we were still in high school when there was SARS. 7:37 in the morning, and we'll be back on the other side of these important messages.
Lolita Cammett from RE/MAX Diamond Realty, a friendly, hardworking, and passionate RE/MAX professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military, and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Cammett from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Go green, go hybrid, go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Is it traffic time? Could be. Take a look at oh, no. Okay, yeah, portions of the program here brought to you by American President. No, Mescla. This time around, Mescla has got some incredible January specials. I love the way they put these things together because it tastes great and good for you, and they use quality ingredients. Now, you should be able to get these in Agana and in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Certified Angus beef pot roast tacos. Now you have me at pot roast. It just gets better when we start talking about putting it in tacos. Fork tender, Chamorro-style beef pot roast, like Mom makes, sautéed with onions and doni, stuffed into soft corn tortillas, and then they top that with fresh onions and cilantro. Serve that up with spicy roasted chili salsa. It's just $16.95. Visit Mescla Nagana and now in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Reservations suggested. Please call 969-2652. That's 969-2652. And I recommend that you make that call now for Valentine's night. Guam is going to be busy Valentine's. It's a Friday night, number one. And number two, we've got a big major military exercise that's going to be taking place in town as well. And they're probably making reservations for that same chair. So make the call now, 969-2652. This is the point. And this is Right Now Traffic. You're taking a look at it. Thought it would get snotty eventually, and it is coming out of Jigo into Ipao into Waisangsong and associated roads. Busy on Marine Corps Drive. Stop and go all the way until you get to Harmon Loop Road, but you're going to meet up with some traffic coming off of Route 3 now onto Marine Corps Drive. Not quite there yet, according to the traffic gizmo, but it will be soon. 8, 10, and 16, that intersection running busy. Traffic heading towards it hasn't quite reached 10 and 15, is busy. And that intersection is going to go nuts here in about 5 minutes, so watch out for that. Traffic through Route 4 into from Pago into Ordot and Sinahanya is moving slow from about where Apicento Gardens is all the way to after Uncle Pete's place. We've got traffic on Route 4 in both directions near the construction that is running crazy. And to Tuhan, that park area, it looks like we've got busy traffic headed in all directions surrounding that area. Traffic on Marine Corps Drive and the entrance to Big Navy and Sumai, that's running pretty busy as well. 741, that's traffic. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
Happy New Year, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's back! A great KFC chicken sale. The $5 box has 2 KFC boneless crispy chicken strips and 2 sides. Our $10 chicken share is your choice of 12 KFC hot wings, 8 chicken strips, or popcorn chicken. And my KFC $20 wow bucket is back. Wow. 10 pieces original recipe drums and thighs with 2 large red rice. It's a great way to start 2020. This sale only happens in January, so visit us at KFC today. It's finger licking good.
Let's do some of this. 7:41 in the morning, 888-825-588-TALK. There's a story that should be of vital interest to everybody that wants to get lined up for their big tax refund coming in 2020. The new tax filing season is open. The boss of the shop over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, my very close, very dear personal friend, Daphne Shimizu. Good morning, Daph. How you doing?
Hi. Good morning, Ray. Doing great today.
Mana's trying to say hello to you as well.
Hi, Mona.
Good morning.
Nice to have everybody all bright-tailed and bushy-eyed here. So the tax filing season is now officially on. My account walked around the building the other day with all the W-2 forms, and so I know that there's going to be guys from here that are ready to put their 1040s together and drop them off at the Department of Revenue and Taxation. What else do we need to do?
So absolutely. So yesterday we began to receive 2019 forms 1040, so people began to come in and file those returns. But I wanted to make sure that we share. It's very important that with regard, especially those. Well, whether you have a refund or not, it's important to make sure that all of your tax return information is complete. Meaning you've signed your form, your address, all the information is complete. But in addition to that, making sure when we talk about A status returns are those returns that are actually complete and they have all attachments. So if you have a Schedule C or if you have Form 4562, those are all required in addition. If you have you need to make sure that all your W-2s, all your 1099s, all of those forms must be attached in order for them to be considered A status. And again, that's very important. If we don't have those forms or those attachments, then, it causes delay in processing. And I know it's disheartening to people when they receive notices from us when there are delays because of those reasons.
Because they've already spent the refund. They already spent the refund. I was expecting one. I already spent it. Oh, you're not done processing yet. Okay. So we'll make sure that cross the T's, dot the I's, and make sure that all of the required attachments are there. Just staple them to the side, and they'll know exactly what to do with this. I always say make sure that you've got copies of everything. So you go in there with your return. Make sure you've got a copy of the actual paperwork, the W-2s, all of the attachments, and things like that. Things will get lost from time to time, and it might be 6-7 months down the road. You go, well, I turned it in, and somebody might say I don't have a record of it. So it's always good to have a spare copy with you so that you can make that presentation at the time.
Well, absolutely. I always encourage people to make sure that they come in because we do not make copies here, so you'll need to bring your own copy. And if you send it in mail, I always encourage people to send certified with return receipt so that they have proof that it's actually been, received by us. So those are all very important. You always have to keep your records. There are like standard record retention policies that, people or guidelines, and tax returns are generally considered permanent. You want to keep those because you want to make sure you have good records of those. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. Very important to do that. I also wanted to mention that we do have some hard copy forms here, but we really suggest that people get onto the IRS website, www.irs.gov, and you can get the forms there as well, or find a good tax preparer, somebody that you can rely on. Again, it's very important that all of your tax returns are complete and they're, all the attachments are there. So, for people who are not sure, and they can, they'll probably want to see a good tax preparer. Otherwise, for those people who are disabled or for our senior citizens, we do have some limited tax return prep services that we provide here. And so our people are ready. They've been ready since the other day. And thanks to our team here for getting that all ready and set up. But yeah, we're able to do that starting yesterday, but we're here today. So if people have questions and they need some assistance with preparing, our senior citizens and our disabled, we have that line here, and we'll be ready to service them this morning.
Awesome. Okay. IRS.gov. I'm looking at the site right now. Is there any place special? Are there any special Guam-only forms?
Well, so as you know, we mirror the Internal Revenue Code, and our forms are actually pretty similar. And so you can go ahead and there's a form section. And to be honest, if you go ahead and in the search section at irs.gov, just type in 1040. You can find the instructions there. You can find the actual forms there. But right at the top, right-hand corner, if you type in 1040, you'll find it'll pull up a bunch of items, and Form 1040's U.S. individual income tax return. That's the same type of return that we utilize here on Guam.
I got you. So nothing special. There's the schedules are all the same, and all of that. Now, a question from a listener was, if I drop my return in today and I'm expecting a refund, when do I get that? And my response is, well, the clock doesn't start tolling that requires the government of Guam to pay you in 6 months until April the 15th. So you can get it in today, but it doesn't necessarily put you at the head of the line because it will start for everybody on the 15th.
Right, and so how it works is, and I'm sure you're familiar with the permanent injunction, but it's 6 months from the date of filing or the due date, whichever's later.
Right.
So if you file now, obviously the due date is after this, which is April 15th. So it'll be 6 months after April 15th is the date that we have to begin because of the permanent injunction.
Right, and so we'll keep track of all of these things, but there's no requirement for the government to pay you any earlier than 6 months after April the 15th, and they'll make a big deal about it. Trust me, you'll know every step of the way through the process. Dev, I'm going to let you run. Got a couple of other calls I want to get to, but I want to make sure that you are at the head of the line here to make the announcement. Businesses and individuals may start dropping their tax returns off at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, or start working with your favorite tax professionals to get the things in.
Absolutely, and we're looking forward to servicing everyone. Please come by. If you have any questions, call 635-1779. Our team will help to either triage your, make sure that you get paneled to the right person, or work to get somebody to respond to you. So call us. Again, we're here to serve you, and we look forward to seeing all our taxpayers come on in. And thank you, Ray, and thank you, Mana.
You're always welcome. I'll see you soon, Dav. 888-825-888-TALK is the telephone number. Daryl Taggarty's online. Daryl, did you pick up your packet yesterday?
I picked it up on Friday. That's why I was in the news with you.
Oh, that's right. There we go. Where am I in this story?
We had that that was our plan.
There we go. Yeah.
On the air, you said, let's go, and we did it.
Yeah, but I forget things all the time. And I wanted to make sure I get it. Have you started the paperwork yet?
No.
Yeah, that's okay. That's two of us. Yeah, I got a note from Jim Brooks this morning. He says, "Hey, when are you jumping in?" I said, "I got to make it through the paperwork first."
Who's your treasurer?
It's intimidating. I don't have a treasurer yet.
You got a treasurer.
I got a treasurer and campaign manager and all of that kind of thing. I don't know. But I figure we got to have our family meeting first, because whichever one of us doesn't pick up a packet has to be the treasurer or the campaign manager.
Treasurer?
Yeah, that's the way it's going to have to work. Anyway, so what's up there, Daryl? What you doing?
Well, I'm actually sitting in front of Chinese School of Guam. I'm one of the 3 drivers taking around 15 students who are performing lion dances for Guam businesses for the Chinese New Year. Yeah, my wife is the office manager here and a teacher, and these are great kids from Harvest and St. John's and JFK and Notre Dame and Mount Carmel. And they're just enthusiastic as all get out. And it takes all of them to do these dances and to drum. We've already done 62 since Friday night.
What?
62. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And each dance requires 2 or more change-outs of dancers under the lion. It's so strenuous. It's so vigorous.
Yes. Well, I mean, the really good lion dances are. I mean, there's an incredible amount of movement that goes in on that. And I tell you what is entertaining for me to see is you get some of these young kids that are combining even more acrobatics and more evolved gestures with the dragon and the mouth and the rest of the dances that the tails do, and jumping from things from one thing to another. It really is kind of exciting and exaggerated the way they're doing things these days. I mean, even the run-of-the-mill ones, where even I'm sure the last show of the day is as good as the first show, right?
Actually, some of the last shows are the most vigorous because we have such an enthusiastic crowd. The students respond to that audience interest, and they just love it. They don't flag. They just keep rolling. They're just as strong on every dance. That's why they switch out. And even some of the boys, if they're not dancing, they'll take a percussion part, and it's a true team. I was going to send you a picture of the team, but I need your WhatsApp number.
WhatsApp for the radio station's 988-5874. So, yeah, send that. Anything else that you got that's interesting, pictures of the kids. You can shoot video and send it to that same number as well. I'd love to play the video. And remember, when you're shooting on your camera, hold it sideways.
Horizontal.
Yeah, do that.
I will do that. We're due at St. John's at 8 o'clock.
All right.
So I just need to cut this short, but I wanted to get on and say, yes, I am running, and the response out there has been really good as I've gone from place to place with the kids, with the lion dance.
Yep.
I'm running into all kinds of people, and the response is good for all the right reasons.
Part-time legislature?
Party.
Part-time legislature.
Well, some of them are mixed on that, but I'm in support of it, and I let them know.
I think there's a lot of people that I think that people have gotten so used to the status quo and are worried that less legislature will mean more opportunities for shenanigans by the other two branches of government. But that's not necessarily the case.
No, what we are lacking is leadership. It is not time put in by politicians. And so we just need better quality use of the time.
Yep,
that we're buying with our $8 million a year.
Ken Leon Guerrero is suggesting that new names and new faces will have a distinct advantage over incumbents in this race for the 36th Guam legislature. I'll see you at the fundraisers, my friend.
I will be around. You'll see me all over town.
Groovy. And don't forget, never mind anything really, really fancy, all the heavy appliances and things like that from Macy's. People just be happy with a couple of things of Clorox bleach and some rice and those kind of raffle prizes.
The best people in a campaign are the voters, and the voters come in all sizes and shapes, and each one is equal. And each vote for new candidates is a message that they want change.
Absolutely. Well, but there's also the concept of we change out the senators, but we get the same government. Hopefully, this new legislature made up of mavericks and Avengers and Kingsmen. We'll get jackets. We're going to get patches. I swear, it's going to be fun. I would hope that this new legislature will take a good hard look at some of the nominees in departments, agencies, and commissions and boards, and take a look and say, well, you've had a lot of years in service already. Thank you very much. I think we're going to leave this seat open for somebody that's got some new ideas and doesn't seem to be beholden to any political links. But we'll talk about that later. 7:53 in the morning. That's my pal Darryl Taggarty working with some kids. Gong Yi Fat Choi. Happy Chinese New Year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other Governor Leon Guerrero. That would be Ken Leon Guerrero joining me now. Hey, Ken, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Are you likewise freaking out about this coronavirus, my friend?
I'm very concerned about it. I've been watching what the numbers do, but I'm a black swan theory follower. And if you've been watching my post, I'm pessimistic about the economy. And one of the things that I was worried about was the black swan event. And the guy that actually did the theory is probably making billions right now because I know he's short everything.
Yeah. What is the black swan event? Describe that. Define it.
Okay. Pick an event that you think is highly improbable and bet on it happening. It only costs you pennies, but if it comes to pass, then you'll get dollars for every penny you put. And one of his most successful ones, other than a number of regional wars and conflicts, was the mortgage meltdown. And I think he turned, like $34 million into $3.2 billion on the mortgage meltdown. And he's been looking at the inflation, the rapid rise of the stock market on nothing, the overextension of the world's central banks, the slowly collapsing economies around the world. And whether you think U.S. economy is collapsing or not, the fact that we've gone from 28% to 44% of the population living in poverty or working poverty shows you that all is not great despite what the stock market tells you. And so he's been short. And, this corona thing has the potential to become his next biggest black swan.
Wow.
But that wasn't why I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say a very interesting event and, stories that I'm following this morning and about this and how already we're beginning to see, what it's going to feel like a business meltdown across different nations, shops, restaurant, tourist destinations shuttering their doors across China. Global business is beginning to feel the effect of the deadly Wuhan virus outbreak. So coronavirus is serious. If you have money, if you've got investments that are indexed to any of the American funds, not a good day for the Dow. Worst day they've had since October, and most of the other American markets are following suit. So some of the Asian markets are having a tough time. The Nikkei is flat today, and Shanghai index off by about 85 points. So it's definitely having an impact out there in the world. 7:56. What do you want to talk about? The UNPO?
Well, we'll get into that later. What I want to talk about is the fact that, as you know, I'm encouraging a lot of new people to run, and there are some basic rules that these new candidates need to follow. Number one, on all their advertising, promotions, posts, and everything, in addition to an email address that they can be reached at, they need to either get a burner phone and put a cell phone number, because a lot of people, especially in the seniors, don't have email. And, this way they have a way they can, people can reach out to them and leave messages. So email and a phone number.
Okay, go on.
The second thing is get your positions out in real language, like ordinary people talk, don't write it like a senator. Write it as if you were sending a note to your mother to make it easy to understand.
Mom, don't get sick and
Because
go to
when you
GMH. How's that? I don't want my mom to get sick and go to GMH.
Well, the point is that when they put together a position or a statement, it needs to be engaging, and it's not going to be engaging if it's so sterile that you could eat off it. You know, it needs to have a little, and it needs to be short. You know, if you're going to put together a 5-page position paper on one subject, you're going to lose your people. What you need to do is put summaries up that are easy to read, easy to understand, and refer them back to your website if you want, the more detail.
Correct.
You should
Okay.
have a website.
All right. So it's just easy to read, easy communication skills. All right.
Yeah, you're reaching out to these people, and you need to make it easy for people to reach you. Now, we've got a few people that have ventured into the pond so far, and it's early days, so they're still ramping up. That's why I want to get this out there as soon as possible, so that as they're setting up their communication and interaction infrastructure, they make it easy for people to reach out to them. That way it's not all one way. The way things have been in the past, it's always been one way. Everything comes out. I mean, I can't even tell you how many senators on their signs and stuff over the years don't have any way to reach back. It's been a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, well, I mean, and in some cases, I don't really want the reach back. I just want you to know that I'm running. I've got a pretty face. I'm wearing a nice dress, and vote for me. I'm number 9 on the ballot. 7:59 and change. Gov, I'll talk to you pretty soon. You have a terrific morning. That's the other governor, Ken Leon Guerrero, joining me now on the program. We call him the other Governor Leon Guerrero because his name is Leon Guerrero. And number 1 and number 2 because I know it triggers people over at Adelup. They're going to be incapable of working again today because Ray Gibson said the other Governor Leon Guerrero. What's up with that guy? Wasn't elected. Yeah, I don't know. Just leave that there. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. Gotten you. Coming up, I got Fox News Live. We'll hear more and more about what's going on in the national scene. A couple of the big stories continue to be coronavirus and Kobe Bryant and the terrible tragedy in the helicopter crash that claimed him and his daughter's life. Montesilva Tyron's got news from the Guam Daily Post. On the other side of that, we might pretend to talk about sports. That's all ahead right here on 93.3. This is The Point.
This is a Fox News alert. Defending the president at his impeachment trial, Elisa Brady. It continues in the U.S. Senate, where the defense started over the weekend. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
President Trump's legal team is spending its second day of arguments, pushing back on claims made by House managers. That includes a defense of President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
In this trial, in this moment, Mr. Giuliani is just a minor player. That shiny object designed to distract you.
And President Trump's attorney, Jane Raskin, says Giuliani was investigating Ukrainian corruption well before former Vice President Joe Biden became a candidate. And that investigation was not for political reasons, she argues, but a way to aggressively defend the president during the special counsel's Russia investigation. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Overall, the president's legal team arguing that he has not done anything wrong or anything impeachable. The L.A. County Coroner's Office says 3 bodies have now been recovered at the helicopter crash site in Southern California, where 9 people were killed yesterday, including former NBA star Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter.
Audio recordings have been released from liveatc.com of conversations between the helicopter pilot and air traffic controllers in 2 locations as the chopper headed west.
You're cleared to prevent class Charlie surface area from the southeast to the northwest.
Copy that. To maintain special VFR, copter to Equus.
The weather was foggy Sunday morning when the crash occurred, and the audio recordings reveal the pilot was given special visual flight rules clearance to fly in challenging conditions.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Meantime, fans keep gathering outside the Staples Center in L.A.
All I can do is just, hope that his family, wish them the best. I can't imagine what they're going through.
Adding to the makeshift memorial of flowers, balloons, and candles. America is listening to Fox News.
at the mall as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment. You could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
People come to Chili's for a million reasons. For happy hour, date night, birthdays, or just because it's Tuesday. But if you ask us what brings people into our restaurants time and time again, is that Chili's moment. You know the one. When you eat so much you want to fall asleep at the table, or when you meet up with good friends and it turns into a party. At Chili's, moments like these matter, and we want to make more of them. So there may be a million reasons to Chili's, but all you really need is one. Chili's, savor the moment in our new location in the Tumon Sands Plaza, 2nd floor.
No word yet what may have caused a deadly dock fire in Alabama that spread to more than 30 boats on the Tennessee River, many of them houseboats, killing at least 8 people.
Substantial access problems for firefighters to get to the fire, and at the same time, egress problems for occupants of that boat dock to exit.
The Scottsboro, Alabama Fire Chief Gene Necklace, divers have been searching for any more potential victims. President Trump plans to release the White House plan for Mideast peace tomorrow.
And it's a very big plan. It will be a suggestion between Israel and the Palestinians. It's the closest it's ever come, and we'll see what happens.
He held White House meetings today with both the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his chief political rival, Benny Gantz. An exit plan for U.S. government personnel in Wuhan, China, the suspected epicenter of a coronavirus that has now spread to more than a dozen countries, including 5 confirmed cases in the U.S. A State Department official says a chartered flight for government personnel is now set to leave Wuhan Wednesday morning. All passengers will be screened before they leave. They're also offering available space to U.S. citizens, but they would have to reimburse the government for the flight. That virus continues to weigh on financial markets, concern about the ripple effects on businesses.
The last thing they want is to be responsible for the spread of a disease. So McDonald's and Starbucks, they are closing stores in China. Disneyland in Hong Kong, same kind of thing. But it's not just limited to those businesses. There's a huge ripple effect. If people get scared, no malls, no theaters, no travel, no resorts, planes, hotels, no restaurants, anything related to Macau will stop as well. The best comparison might be SARS in 2003, an estimated $40 billion in lost revenue.
Fox Business Network's Jackie DeAngelis, the Dow falling 454 points today, dropping under 28,600. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Yikes, are those Christmas bills coming in already? Those high-interest credit cards at 16, 18, even 24%? Well, we have a New Year's solution for you. A Bank Pacific personal loan with rates as low as 4.65% to pay off those expensive credit cards. It's easy, it's fast, and it's as low as 4.65% APR.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal credit opportunity lender as low as 4.65%. Conditions apply.
Mezco Chamorro Fusion Bistro in the Grand Plaza Hotel Tumon is now serving your favorite daily specials. Come one, come all. Enjoy your Monday with that savory carón pica. Your Tuesday with your one and only candied salmon. Stroll by on Wednesday to try that local style oxtail caro. Or Thursday if you're feeling that pan crisp pork belly served over roasted sweet potato mash. And don't forget that misoyaki black cod with garlic mashed potatoes on Fridays. Busy at work and still want your fix? Call us at 969-2652 for your takeout order.
Half a day in, good morning. It's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron, and here are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. A 25-year-old man arrested in connection with the murder of a woman is being held on $100,000 bail. Katner Harry of Barragata was charged with murder and aggravated assault after a woman was discovered dead along a Toto roadway. The woman, identified as 37-year-old Luciana Pauli, was found in a grassy area with severe bruising and massive swelling to her face. Police noted she was found partially naked. It was through the help of a surveillance video taken from a nearby mobile gas station that they were able to identify the victim and the assailant. Police Chief Steve Ignacio says detectives were able to locate Harry at his home. He said the pair agreed to meet because they were together earlier in the day. Physical altercation ensued between the two. Harry told police that he was asleep in his car when Polly woke him up, pouring beer on him, and he became angry and punched her several times in the face. He then blacked out while chasing her and couldn't remember the details, but he did admit to knowing that he killed Polly. According to prison records, Harry was arrested back in November of 2012 on charges of public drunkenness, disorderly conduct, and loitering, as well as underage drinking. While the administration continues to entertain war claimants, Congressman Mike Nicholas says his office cannot expedite claims. In a press release, Nicholas stated, "Please be advised that the Governor's War Claim Processing Center is issuing slips of paper to constituents that they're not able to help, telling them to contact Congressman Nicholas's office to expedite their war claim processing." The release says this is not something that the congressman is able to do, adding that the administration is misleading people as they're not able to process claims for everyone. The congressman says he has nothing to do with this local process. He is, however, continuing his work on H.R. 1365 and anticipates passage pending the conclusion of the impeachment proceedings. Numbers of confirmed cases continue to grow in China and the mainland, but Guam and Saipan don't have a single case of coronavirus. There was a bit of a scare yesterday when an internal memo from an insurance company was circulated stating there was a confirmed case in Saipan. Local officials issued a joint release yesterday stating the claim was completely false and there are in fact no reported confirmed or suspected infections of the coronavirus on Guam or in the Mariana Islands. The Saipan government did send test results from a family of 5 who arrived at the airport with flu-like symptoms, but the testing ruled out coronavirus and showed that the family had a simple flu. Flights from China continue to arrive on Saipan. Guam and the Northern Mariana governments have a system to send samples for testing to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC has stated that it has established a mechanism for the rapid testing for coronavirus cases. Guam's Department of Public Health and Social Services, they maintain that Guam is still a low-risk area, but the situation can evolve quickly and people are urged to exercise caution and take preventative action. More news after this.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Go green, go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Senators will be in session today, and a couple of public hearings also on the agenda of the hearings, one by the Committee on Public Safety chaired by Senator Pito Terlahi. 3 bills will be held, those dealing with the mayor's vacancies and appointments to municipal councils. The bills introduced primarily to address the lack of a mayor in Jotnya after Jesse Bloss was arrested, and he remains in jail. That hearing will be at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. Also this evening, another public safety town hall meeting with Senator Jim Moylan. Moylan going village to village to hear public's concern on public safety and to discuss the bills that he's introduced. The town hall will be at 6 o'clock in the Tumuning Senior Citizen Center. Jason Duenas Asperer could be tried a second time after the Supreme Court of Guam overturned his conviction of sexual assault in October of 2019. Asperer successfully appealed his convictions on charges of first, third, and fourth degree criminal sexual conduct, but the court upheld his convictions of child abuse and of possession of a Schedule II controlled substance with the intent to deliver because of the overwhelming evidence of guilt on these charges. Prior to the High Court ruling, Asperer had been sentenced to 15 years in prison for sexually molesting a boy who has a developmental disability and forcing the minor to smoke meth. Asperer appeared Monday before the Superior Court Assistant Attorney General Woodrow Pagati told the court on Monday that the prosecution might retry the case. Defense Attorney Steve Attore asked the court to delay the sentencing for several weeks. Asper is scheduled back in court on March 2nd. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is Ray with your weather.
Mostly cloudy, breezy with scattered light showers today. Northeast winds up to about 25 miles an hour, gusting as high as 35 miles. Skirt check, ladies, especially if you work over at the GCIC building. There's a Venturi effect through there. Just makes everything fly. Highs near 85 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, isolated showers, northeast winds up to about 20 miles an hour, and overnight lows should be about 76 degrees. We'll get to sunset at 6:19 tonight. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:40. Coming up next, we'll pretend to talk about sports here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
It's not a hard name. It's not a hard name. We can overcome some of this stuff.
Pengelly.
What's the name?
Pengelly.
All right, and is it associated with what story again?
Yeah, Duenas.
Okay.
No, Asperer. But yeah, I mispronounced it twice.
Uh-huh.
And just kind of went through it, but the last time was really bad.
The same thing. I just kind of mumble through things every once in a while and hope people think I don't have some kind of speech impediment. 8:13 in the morning. Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home. Denny's with incredible food on all their menu items. We got eggplant with ground beef, tofu omelets, nacho cheese fries, as in that's not your cheese. You let me eat that. Pepper steak stir fry, Korean ground beef bowl, and beef short ribs. Make your meal a little specialer with some great menu items from your friends over at Denny's. Take Care offering proven wellness and fitness programs. Also bring you the program encouraging you and your family to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle, preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing, unwinding, and being socially connected. You want to find out about some of these programs, just hit their website. 8:14, that's people bring you this program here on The Point.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
I got Matt Geiger online, my pal Johnny Rosario, and Smug Wimps online. Johnny says, good morning, beautiful people. Takes one to know one. Today at the ranch is online, so his big sister Shelly Gibson, Debbie Canata, who's giving me a hard time because I said, we need to. Kenley and Guerrero says we got to dumb down our messages. If we're running for office, try to make the lines as crystal and clear. Speak in the vernacular, the way regular people speak, right? And if you've got something that's involved, then you know what? Use kind of the headline approach. And if you want more information, go to my candidate website or my candidate Facebook page and things like that. And then you'll get the full-blown version of it. But it's got to be short, got to be Cliff Notes. And I'll tell you why, because there are two things that are happening. And I notice this happens to me a lot at fundraisers, super social events. Right? They're unbelievable. But nobody really pays attention to what's going on stage, right? As soon as you get up there, people have been having cocktails all night, and they're waiting for the raffle, and they've been socializing with friends. All of a sudden, you get up a candidate up at the front of that, and the only people paying attention are the relatives. That's it. Everybody else in the back, they're mumbling, they're talking to each other. Or the big distractor at a lot of things is they're on their phones. They're on their phones and not paying attention to what you've got to say. So just get up, get to the important points. Thank you for coming, and we'll have another fundraiser next week, and that'll be a $25 deal. And just keep the party going as much as possible.
Yeah, and do you go to a fundraiser to hear what they got to say? I mean, obviously you heard what they got to say.
Oh, hell no.
You just want to face-to-face with them as they're circulating the room, right?
No, for me, they're big social opportunities. Look,
Yeah.
for $10, you can get a cold beer. There's much food as you want to eat, and it's generally pretty good at some of these fundraisers. And you might get a raffle ticket or something like that to win. I don't know, Pampers or Huggies or Formula. Some really high-end prizes that they give away at some of these things.
Well,
it's
win all of
true.
the prizes and then give them away when you have your fundraiser.
Exactly. So I think Jim Moylan and Bobby Stringy won some prizes at Vince's deal over the weekend, and my guess is that those prizes will show up at their fundraiser. fundraisers as part of their giveaways as well. Frankly, the interesting question is, has anybody ever opened something that they've got from a raffle at a fundraiser? Or is it the same prize that goes from one fundraiser to another? White elephant. 878-17 in the morning, 888-8255. Suman asking if I'm going to be posting up pictures. And were you asking if I was going to post this picture up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did actually. It was I had this on while the news was playing. now one of these ladies is a friend of mine. She's actually been to Guam several times, and she is in Hong Kong now. And boy, you want to talk about a rough couple of year for her and her family and friends in Hong Kong. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you've got these freedom fighters that are in the streets facing off against the police and malls and airports and places like that.
They're still out there, aren't they?
I don't know that.
I thought I saw something over the weekend where they
with another one of those
gazillion
person marches or something like that. And now they got to deal with this, and there was a story in there about different things that are just basically getting shut down or threatening to shut down because of Macau and Hong Kong's proximity to China and Ground Zero out in Wuhan. There's a lot of people I want to be careful with this because I'm that kind of guy. I want to err on the side of caution, but I don't want to overblow some of this. I mean, there's a lot of hype in the media because the media is a 24-hour day, 7-day a week. We got to churn these stories, right? And so there's a lot of people, and now coronavirus is the next big deal, and that's what people are really, really, I think the media is really, really interested in pushing, and they're going to talk to people, and they're going to find people that they can put on the air that are borderline hysterical on coronavirus. There's a place for that, but I think the other part of it is just keep an eye on the numbers. There's not that many people. And a comparison that somebody that you and I know in the insurance business is pointing out today. In the flu season, regular flu season, last year, between 2018 and 2019, 647 people were hospitalized. 61,200 people died. Right? Of the 42.9 million people that got sick from the 2018-2019, just plain old vanilla flu. Didn't have a fancy name, and it didn't come from, bats mating with chickens or anything like that. Those are the numbers. 647,000 hospitalized, 61,200 people died as a result of that last flu. We are, with coronavirus, 2,000 cases, and 50 people have died. And the incredible amount of hype that is being made on the media about that is you've got to take everything where they are. Just keep an eye on the numbers and watch what happens, and take the precautions that you think are going to be necessary. 20 after. Now there's another picture that I got in the WhatsApp pile. Okay, you see the pretty girls? Okay, bye pretty girls. Where's the other picture in the WhatsApp pile that's going to be fun to play around with? There it is. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. And no, let me scooch down so you can see his face. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. Now, what you might not be able to see in the background is the name of the. This is not a hotel lobby. It looks like it could be a hotel lobby, right? It's not a hotel lobby. It's the lobby of the Republican National Party.
Oh, I thought it was Sejong Korean restaurant. Because, they have a kind of sign like that.
Right. They got the little plants in the front. Republican National Committee. That's where former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez was. And somebody snapped a picture of him. I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out
there's a ray of sunshine.
What the background on that story is. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number around here. I was going to try to pretend to talk about sports. We'll get around to doing that. Frankly, we're at that. Everything in sports is Kobe. It's all Kobe. And if you want to, because I've decided later on, because I saw a couple of interesting posts yesterday with some quotes that were attributed to Kobe that I found kind of inspiring and kind of relevant. Talking about success comes from hard work, and you got to be the guy that's out there all the time. There's natural talent that everybody has, but unless you nurture that talent by putting in the work, and nothing good is going to come from that. And I nod my head up and down and remember that 5 mornings of the week I am at my desk before 5 o'clock in the morning trying to get ready to make sure that we've got a quality presentation on this program. So yeah, always put in the work. 8:21 in the morning, and I wanted to get this question answered. Maria Pangilinan from the Guam Election Commission joins the program. Hafa Maria Pangilinan.
Half a day, Ray Gibson.
I'm so glad your voice is back. We weren't able to talk the other day, but we got turned on to Tommy over at the Election Commission. He took care of me real good.
All right, thank you so much.
So there's a story, one of the newsrooms covering here about the Guam Election Commission needs more money for the elections that are coming up, huh?
Yes, that's correct. Our when we requested for fiscal year 2020, it was 1.9, and we just got a little. We got 1.4. So we're turning in a supplemental request today for close to 600,000.
And that's just to cover the gap between what you'd originally asked for and what you eventually got. So I can see where that is. The folks are probably going to be asking, where are you going to be using that money for? And I'll tell you, I know the answer now. Having participated to the degree that I have, the answer is those. What is it? Do you have any idea how much one of those candidate packets is worth in American dollars?
Well, there's a lot of person hours that go into those.
Right, yeah. I mean, just the materials.
Person hours.
You've got things that have been not just printed on a laser printer or copy or something like that. I mean, you've actually had to go to a printer and have documentation, law and things like that, all printed up in kind of document form that go into these packets. So I'm looking at this going, this packet. I mean, I picked it up for nothing. Nobody charged me anything for the packet, but it occurs to me that with all of the manpower that goes into stuffing the packets, the materials that go into the packets, those things got to be worth $100, $150 a piece.
Yes, actually, everything is done in-house.
Oh.
Yes, everything is done in-house. We've gotten to that point at the Guam Election Commission where most of it is done in-house. Even those handbooks that look like little nice booklets, those are done in-house as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought maybe you run by Biachino's place and get those things printed there. Good job then.
Yes, good job to the excellent staff at GEC. Thank you.
Well, they were able to answer the majority of my questions, but you know how I am, right? I'm completely distracted by everything, and so it's possible some of the important things that your clerk was telling me about bank accounts, when I can get them signed, when I can sign up for them, what I need to take to the bank, and things like that. I was kind of I wasn't paying attention. So, it's the only way I can say it.
So organizational reports.
I was distracted.
Organizational reports are probably what candidates first turn in. In the past, before 2012, I believe, the threshold is if you spent $100,000, then your organizational report is due. So in the past, organizational reports were turned in at the same time candidate packets were. Okay? At this time, because of the new threshold at $250, organizational packets are turned in much earlier.
Sure.
Which means if Ray Gibson collects contributions of $250 or spends even his own money, up to $250 or past $250, Ray Gibson has to turn in his organizational report within 10 days.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll keep that in mind. I haven't spent anything on it other than just the gas. And can I just? I talked about this yesterday. It's neat. I didn't realize that you guys have full-time elevator attendants at the Election Commission.
When the one elevator is acting up, GCIC staff man the elevators to make sure that the customers are safe.
Okay, I got it. So I've got until what, April the 1st is when I can start turning in my candidate paperwork.
April 21st.
21st. See, again, not paying attention because I know I can get you on the phone and you'll answer my questions.
I don't remember if it's the 20th or the 21st, but you have up from April 20th or 21st to June 30th to turn it in.
Okay, so there's paperwork that I got to work on with all of that stuff, and we'll get around to doing all of that before too much longer. You're expecting that you're going to get that supplemental appropriation now, aren't you?
Well, I'm asking.
What if now? What if they say no? Do you just go, well, I guess we can't have an election?
It would be. I always take direction from the board.
Oh, okay. So the board will say then we're not going to have an election if you don't give us the money.
It would be up to them, yes, sir.
Did you buy me any new equipment this year?
We are in the process. As you know, we issued an IFB and awarded it. So now we're looking at the T's and the I's, dotting them and making sure everything's okay. And we should get them in soon.
Gotcha. Mark asking, how much is your printer rental? So with those fancy some of the products that you've got in that bag, and it's a much bigger bag than I anticipated. Did you rent a printer for that?
Oh no, we just have our two printers in the office that we use year round, and we published our election comparative analysis report. We run them through, but we get them bound outside.
I got you. Oh, I see. Well, that's why they look like they were professionally done, because they were doing the bindery from outside, and that makes a big difference.
No. Inside, not the packets. The election comparative analysis report.
Those get bound outside.
Yes.
All right. So you're not renting any printers. You're just using whatever you've got in the store.
That's correct.
Okay, a little bit more of an understanding. Listen, like I said, I'm
Gita
glad.
has a spiral binder, so if you want to borrow the one from Gita, you get it for free. You just need the
little plasticky things.
You just need the plastic things that you can do the spiral.
Those things confound me. We used to have one
just
over at
so you know,
Sorensen.
I'm offering Gita's equipment.
Just when you go to say Jay Rojas sent me. It's 8:28 in the morning. Happy birthday, Jay. 8:28 in the morning. Listen, I'll talk to you pretty soon, Maria. Love you. I'll talk to you. All right.
That's Ray Gibson and Mona Silva.
There you go, Maria.
Bye, Maria.
That's we're big fans, obviously, of the way that lady operates, and well, at least I am at this point. We'll see as the election process moves forward and my participation with the Guam Election Commission.
And once you're officially a candidate,
commission members
the folks there are super helpful. So they'll stay on top of you. They'll give you calls so that you can make sure that your stuff is filed on time in case it doesn't show up close to the deadline. They'll give you a heads up.
I think they sent me...
Because they don't want anyone to go to jail. And like if you submit something and they catch an error or something, they'll call you to correct it.
Wait, what do you mean go to jail? What is it? What is there possibly that I could do?
You could be in go to media jail or trial by media.
Yeah, whatever. I poop bigger than all them. That
but
ain't gonna
if
happen.
they catch things that are in error, they always try to work with the candidate to make sure that they're...
I did get an email
straight.
from them. Candidate packet, electronic forms. Half a day, potential candidates. We have...
See, aren't they helpful?
Yeah, attached are the following forms for your use: organizational report, election campaign contributions and expenditures report, and public official financial disclosure statements, all in Excel spreadsheet form. So I guess all I'd have to do is open these up, plug and play, and then send them back or provide them as part of my packet, right? Way too complicated.
The sooner you identify your treasurer, you get somebody to fill out all of the financial stuff for you. See, ideally, you don't have to do it yourself.
Yuka Hechanova.
There you go.
Yuka, she used to work at the public auditor's office. She's the big money lady over at the hospital now.
Too.
She's my friend.
I wonder if she'll run again for OPA. Wait, did BJ say he's running for, or is he retiring, or is he running for Congress?
At this time.
At this time.
He has no intentions of running for Congress. He was talking about retiring because, Raymond, I'm 69.
He doesn't look a day over 50.
He says he's 69. Is it time for him to retire? I mean, that was the sense that I got, and it wasn't one of those wink things that you get from BJ. I mean, he looked directly in the eye.
No, he doesn't.
So, but I mean, what was the sense that you got? I mean, you've been around, you pay attention. I mean, did you get the sense that he was evading the question, at this time deal, or you think that he might be? Yeah, definitely. I mean, because he doesn't have if he wants to become the OPA, this is the election year because it's a 4-year term. Doris jumped out a little bit earlier, but this is the term that he would actually have to, again go before the people of Guam and ask for the job.
And then one thing you learn in politics is that you don't ever say never.
Right.
You never say never because you might change your mind, and then you never want to be caught in that. But you said you weren't going to do it again.
Yeah. Shelley's asking, am I man atungo Ramon? Which is Uncle Jim's...
Mutung. He's Mutung.
Mutung. I'm definitely Mutung. I was going to go with the family name, Bebe Anduit, but some people are suggesting maybe that might not be good to garner a lot of votes. Mutung, mamong man. 8:31 in the morning, and is that all the time that we have to? Never. You know what? Here's the problem. Like I said, all sports is still Kobe Sports today, and there's a thing down at the bottom of the Guam Daily Post that usually will show me what the 5Ks are. But I think everybody's resting and recovering from the kick to fat over the weekend. So and the super sprint that took place on Sunday. There's so many people that did both of them that maybe I think
and
everybody.
Lots of training happening for the United.
Oh, there's plenty enough of that. In fact, we're going to be, me and my buddy's going to be doing a run from Southern Mountain Gear. It's Tuesday night, so Southern Mountain Gear has got a deal. Showtime's going to be about 6:15 or so, and we hit the road about 6:30. And then it's just it's a 3-mile jog around Agania. If you want to make it longer, you can. But for all intents, it's kind of a supervised run, if you will, in that you're running with a bunch of other people at night. You might want to bring some water. You might want to bring a blinky and a light, although we're not necessarily going to be hitting any heavy roads. And then after that, we finish up at Carabao. Great way to do this. And Yoli Penaranda, runner athlete, successfully summited Everest Base Camp in Nepal and took a picture. It is dated October the 20th of 2019. Apparently, it's harder to get down from this base camp than it is to get up because she's been up there ever since. No, I'm just making that up. Sorry. But it sounded true, right? It's just, wow, I'm stuck. What can I say? So it's 8:33 in the morning. We'll take a quick break. Montecillo Tyron's got the last look at headlines coming up next.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
Yeah, I'm getting requests from people asking me to leave the picture of Carl Gutierrez at the Republican National Committee up on
Bring
Facebook
back that
Live.
sunshine, will ya?
Just bringing the sunshine to the Republican Party. I think that's awesome. And we'll see what we can find out from Uncle Carl. What the heck that's all about. My guess is that it's probably one of those things where he is lining up bipartisan support for a Guam-only visa waiver for the Philippines. That has been his quest virtually since the day that he was hired by Lulian Guerrero, and I'm delighted to see that he's just not going to leave any stone unturned. If he thinks there's a name or a face or some influence that he might be able to get with the Republican National Committee, he's going to take advantage of it. And if it means putting together a three-way between him and Manny Pacquiao and somebody at the RNC, that's probably what he's working on. Probably something along those lines. It's 8:34. That was the news theme, wasn't it? Yeah, I probably should have said, now with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Montecillo Tyron.
Well, the back and forth may never end. Guam Congressman Mike Sinicolas says the administration's diverting individual war claimants to his office. These claims, he says, are apparently they're not able to help, stating that the congressman's office can help expedite their war claims. Sinicolas says this is not something that he can do and cautions the administration not to mislead the war claimants or the public. His office has nothing to do with this local process, he says. The man charged with the murder of a woman found in Totu this weekend is being held on $100,000 bail. 25-year-old Kettner Harry said that he blacked out while chasing the woman after he assaulted her. He admitted to killing her. The woman is identified as 37-year-old Luciana Polly. A public hearing will be held today on 3 bills that deal with the mayor's vacancy and appointments to the municipal councils. The bills introduced primarily to address the lack of a mayor in Jotnya after Mayor Jesse Bloss was arrested. He remains in jail. Tonight's hearing will be at 5 o'clock in the public hearing room. A little later on in the evening, a public safety town hall meeting will be held with Senator Jim Moylan. Moylan going village to village, hearing public concerns on safety, as well as opportunities to discuss some of the bills that he's introduced. The town hall tonight will be at 6:30 in the Tamuning Senior Citizen Center. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
8:36 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. iConnect has mobile and internet plans. And the great thing, the mobile plans that they've got, they work perfectly with WhatsApp, unless you're sending a message or something like that to somebody like, Montecillo Tyron. And today's program, the theme for today's program is blue check marks, dang it. There is a growing population of people.
Turn off the blue check mark.
And as far as I'm concerned, they've become the new most annoying people in the world, and they're the ones that go to the settings on their WhatsApp and say no blue check marks,
no blue check mark, no last scene,
no last scene, yeah, none of that stuff. So I sent her a thing this morning. And she's like, well, I didn't get it. And I'm like, well, I can see I've got 2 gray check marks, which means I've delivered it. Can you check again? And about 4 minutes later, I said, you still haven't gotten the thing. Why is this taking so long? She said, no, I got it. I said, where's the blue check mark? She said, I turned them off. For me, her brother, she turns off the blue check marks.
For everyone.
That's right. You cannot. WhatsApp needs to do that.
Deniability.
WhatsApp needs to be able to do that, so that when I need to be able to see, whether you've seen it or not. And I think for important connections, I don't know, family, spouses.
You could in a group chat. You could see if they've. You can verify if they've viewed your message or your image. Unless the person leaves the group chat, which I often do.
You can't hide from anyone nowadays.
I want to be able to. I want to be able. They also need to be able to do this. There also needs to be a way that you can leave a chat without it announcing that you've left the chat. Right? Because otherwise, you get people sending you WhatsApps on your private message, going, "What did you leave? Why'd you leave? What's the matter? Just, you don't like us?"
This Ray was annoying.
Yeah. It's usually Joe. 8:37 in the morning, and that's Eye Connect time. Chirp, chirp. Be right back.
Hi, welcome to this ad for new Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. How do you want it?
Cheers, squad. Woo! Go Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. Woo! Give me a ham and jack slider.
Ham and jack slider.
Give me an Italian spice slider.
Italian spice slider.
What's that spell?
It doesn't really spell anything.
New Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. Go sliders!
Subway, make it what you want.
True, but it's an extra step. So my telecom partner, Richard, writes, you can check info, and what you do is you just, hold on to whatever text that you'd sent. Hold on to it long enough, and you'll get a drop-down list. It'll ask you to star, reply, forward, copy, info, or delete. Now, if you press info, it will tell you whether or not it was read. So you at least get that. But you don't get blue check marks, is the thing. You're not going to get the blue check marks automatically. You can only do that to check and see if they've read the thing. Yeah, and we're not the only ones, and it's not just Mana. It's the other M in my life, Mayumi, my daughter. She's picked up on the habit as well for exactly the same reason. As a young teenage girl, probably has to do with boys and the plausible deniability of being able to say, no, I hadn't seen that at all.
No, Dad didn't tell me to come home by 10 o'clock.
When did you send that? It's 8:39 in the morning, and well on our way. Am I supposed to be doing traffic? Was that the music that was playing in the back? I was just completely lost here. What is the traffic gizmo? Can we play the music again, or am I just going to out in the cold? There it is. At this time of day, it is usually just intersection traffic, and I'm looking at a little bit of that on the northbound side. Waiseng Song, a little bit busy getting off the streets onto Marine Corps Drive, but you'll be all right once you hit Marine Corps Drive. Same thing on Route 3, traffic at 8, 10, and 16, normal for this time of day. Same thing with Route 15 and 10. But for some reason, both directions on the southern side of the intersection of 15 and 10 running a little bit slow, and I'm not sure why. If there's an accident, please let me know about it. 4 and 10 busy going up the hill. 4 is looking all right through Sinahanya and down into the downtown Hagutnya area. Tutuhan's got some interesting traffic patterns going on in that little circle there, as well as Big Navy and Guam High. I'm sorry, Navy Hospital and Guam High. Scooching down a little bit lower, Palawas Point is going to be busy, and then the intersection of 2 and 1 starting to look kind of froggy right about now. That's right now traffic here on the Point.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
Online friends include David Evans, Ed and Karen Untalan, Richard Leon, Candy Knudsen Guzman, noting that I've made some adjustments on certain vocabulary in the program. I'm not referring to the weather patterns today as soggy. Sometimes I do, or just rainy. Snotty can be used from time to time. Snotty. I don't know about you. There's certain sections of roadway that I try to be very careful on when it rains, because there's and anybody remembers there's still some sections of road that feel like they were still made from that old coral milling, and over the years, even though the coral has long died off, there are still oils that are associated with it, and oils in the asphalt that come up. And so, as my father's phrase, you got to be careful on those roads, because when it rains, it becomes slicker than owl snot. Now, my old man, having been raised kind of in the Midwest of the United States, I'm not sure where exactly that came from, but I've always found it to be interesting, and I never wanted to be the guy that tested the slickness of owl snot. But apparently there is something like that. Candy also noting that I said bright-tailed and bushy-eyed. She says, no, it's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I know, it's a Ray thing. J-Lo Q is online. I see Pam Duvall, and she says it's not about you. Angie Antonio Iagi is there. Galo Perez and Rai Rice and Nicholas online. That's cool. Debbie Kanata talking about voter mentality. Is there such a thing? How about a conscience? How do I want to... How is there a way that I can riff? There was a thought that I had, and there were. It's one of these. You ever see a cat or a dog on like one of these marble slab floors that's just been waxed, and the dog, they pick up speed, they're running around, they go from the carpeted section into the tile section, and they realize that there's a wall at the end, and they've got to stop, and they try to put on the brakes, and it just doesn't happen, and they overshoot, basically. And I think in my head that might have been what happened in the transition from the 34th to the 35th Guam legislature. You'll recall that there were a lot of people that were calling in talk radio shows and writing on Facebooks about how much they really disliked the 34th Guam legislature. And they disliked them so much so that it was a lynching on the way out. There was just all these people that used to be in the 34th Guam legislature, and they're not in the 35th, you'll recall. And there were a whole bunch of new names that got in there, and former senators that got voted back in, and everybody signaled change. But you overshot, didn't you? You overshot with the change. I've heard it said, too many women. I've heard that. I've heard it said, too many Democrats has also been some of the commentary that I got. And like I said, well, you know what, just kind of overshot. This will be an opportunity to maybe think for the 35th Guam legislature, maybe some other. You want new names? We'll round up some new names for you. I think the problem with some of the new names that were coming up associated with the 34th Guam legislature, I think some of them, it felt kind of, especially on the Republican side. Did you see me just make that face? Especially on the Republican side. It felt cliquish. It felt like unless you were in, I don't know, the Ray Tenorio or there were some candidates that I put down as, the skinny pants candidates, right? If you weren't in that clique, the fashionable bunch, right? Then you didn't stand a chance. They would get together. They'd be, these rallies and things like that. And everybody was invited to come to the stage, but not everybody was invited to speak. If you're not invited to speak, that means that you're sitting at the ugly kid table. You're sitting with the soup from home kid table in the deal. We tell you what, here's what we need. To be up on the stage, and then when we're done, make sure that all of the folding chairs get into Joe's truck, right? It felt like there was that kind of click thing that was going on. Like I said, especially in the Republican Party. So it was hard to get a bunch of those new faces, give them the name recognition, the voice recognition, and things like that to propel them into a seat in the 35th Guam legislature. I don't know that that'll be the case in the 35th Guam 36th Guam legislature. I think it'll change up enough that way. So that, I'm sorry, it's kind of the longest riff on what you were talking about, voter mentality and things like that. It all comes down to the choices that are given to them by the party, which is another thing that you might be able to riff on here. I was pretty specific when I filled out the paperwork when they said, what party are you affiliated with? If I didn't have to say what party it was, I put down NA. I mean, unless there was something that absolutely said, like Republican or Democrat, here's the check mark. I just kind of put down NA because there's a part of me that, wow, there are things that this Guam version of the party, I'm not really, and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't agree with them on things. You get the legislature, and if the Republicans are serious about taking Adelup back in a couple of years, to me, the answer is simple. You run Mary Torres. And she's heard me say that 1,000 times. She has the good nature not to discuss it when we're together. But I think she hears these things. And I think that she hears the desires of some people to be able to take back Adelup, but that's the way to do that. And how do they consistently mistreat Mary Torres at the legislature? You don't have a title. You're not even a minority anything. And I'm going, this is the future of the party, and you have no idea what it is. And in the meantime, you keep fluffing up everybody else. I think you're moving in the wrong direction here. And maybe there's going to be new leadership that will challenge that conventional wisdom, huh? And when I say, what I really mean is, deba. Who else is playing around? Fran D is online. Jerome McDonald asking, what's up, Nick? Nate Horn says 420. Coincidence? You know, anything that happens on 420 is going to get the stigma of being associated with medicinal marijuana. Oh, and recreational marijuana. And there's a couple of stories on that remind me before the day is done to riff on. Smug Wimp says, Carl, that's this Carl here, has what does he have? What are you saying? Carl has the unusual talent of being effective when he wants to be, something a lot of other politicians might take note of. And he really, really wants this Guam-only visa waiver for the Philippines. Lots of magic can happen as a result of that. Let me see. Smug is still there. Yeah, back and forth between Smug and Shelley, it seems to me, right about now. 8:48 in the morning. And I should have put this in the sports report. Guam Running Club is going to be running the 47th annual Hafa Marathon. This is going to take place on February 15th this year from Anderson Air Force Base all the way down to Ipao Beach Park. It's kind of a longish run, 13.1 miles. But the good news is, and everybody will swear up and down, Richard Taitagui and the guys all say the same thing. Well, you know, it's mostly downhill. That's a sign of encouragement. There's a lot of downhill. But it ain't mostly downhill until after you pass the Micronesia Mall. You get some nice rollers in between the front and back of the race, of the backside of the race. You know, all the way up. You got to run up a hill towards Gain, and then you got to run up a hill towards Woostig, and it's one of those things. If you're not prepared, if you believe the hype about it being a mostly downhill race, you'll be disappointed. So get yourself signed up for it. Get yourself trained up for it. It's a 13.1. There aren't that many of these kinds of races, not many of these distances. I got asked why I ran the 10K in the Kick the Fat, and the answer was, number one, the very, very fast runners in my age group that I want to beat, I can't, and they're running in the 5K, so I figured I'd run in the 10K and then enjoy a little bit more of a possibility of placing. On paper, it looks good. Of course, when it actually comes down to running the actual race, I don't know. I kind of got lazy at the turnaround, and that's what happened. 10 away from the top of the hour. So that race, the Guam Running Club, going to be doing it again February the 15th, and you want to get some practice in. Like I said, Southern Mountain Gear tonight. Show up about 6:15, and we'll hit the road at 6:30. A couple of Super Bowl stories while I got them. You can still get Super Bowl tickets. Somebody was asking me about that, and you know, because the game and the big game, and you get to travel the states, and people wondering, can I still get Super Bowl tickets? Yes, you can still get Super Bowl tickets. They're $20 a piece at my house, and you have to bring your own beer and whatever food happens to be in the area. There's a McDonald's over here, there's a Subway over there, there's a KFC, and there's a whole deli section over at the new Payless. So $20, you bring your own beer, bring your own chow, and we'll just sit around my house and watch the Super Bowl.
Is it cheaper in the nosebleed section at your house?
No, it is not cheaper in the nosebleed section in the house. It's cheaper outside where the dog is. You can go sit outside. They're $15. You get to sit with dog Nova. Nova, and I'm still trying to figure it out. My daughter named the dog. This is Ismail's dog. Ismail gave me this dog. Actually gave it to my daughter. And so Miami named it Nova. And Nova doesn't come to me unless I've got food. Nova, I'll do this. I'll open the door, right? You know, Nova, and Nova will come out and look at me and knows to look at my hands. And if she doesn't see anything in my hands, she goes back to whatever she was doing. She made a deal with the chickens in the neighborhood. So they've got this dog, chicken, cat thing going on. And that's what Dog Nova does. But I don't know where she got the name Nova. I don't know where, because, I'd asked her, I said, are you naming it after the car? And she gave me a look like, there's a car called a Nova? I said, well, if not that, are you naming it after the girl in Planet of the Apes? Charlton Heston's love interest in Planet of the Apes, and she gave me a look like, what's Planet of the Apes? And so I don't know where she got the name, but she got the name, and the dog seems to like it. Because, again, if I call Dog Nova, it's got to be food attached to it. I don't remember. It was early in the program. This will happen. I mean, it was closing in on 9 o'clock. And I made a reference, I think, to male vanity at some point. I think I was talking about my hair. And maybe I should use shampoo next time. I don't know. And there's this story. It says 2020 is the year of the manicure.
What?
That's what I was talking about. Manscaping. I was talking about manscaping. So I don't know when, but recently I got hit with a little bit of, vanity, right? Shut up. Don't shut up, because I need the reaction, because now I'm playing to you. So a little bit of male vanity. I'd always had just a little patch of hair on my chest.
Nice.
No, because it comes out gray.
That's from eating all that stuff that they said would put hair on your chest.
So I've taken to shaving it. I shaved the hair on my chest. Not like I've got a lot. I'm not hairy like my brother, right? but there's hair, but patch here, patch there. I got it, and it's running gray. And I've become just vain enough at 57 years old to say the less gray, the better. The silver fox thing on the face. All day, baby, all day. I love it. But all of the rest of the stuff. So I shave it off. I manscape. I've got, and I don't remember anybody else in the Underwood or Gibson family. I'm thinking this might be a recessive thing among the Martinez Torreses. But I've actually got, and it feels like beard hair on my ears. There's a patch here, so I've got to shave that every once in a while. And there's nostril hairs, ear hairs, hair that actually grows out the ears. That just pops out of the funniest places, right? So I've got, in addition to the thing that keeps the beard trimmed, it's got all these attachments for manscaping, they call it.
Nice.
So we go from manscaping to manicure. And I don't know if I'm ready for this. I don't know if I'm down for the manicure. Dudes wearing nail polish. 2020 is the year of the manicure, where average guys, there have always been guys, him and Florita, that have, with the nail polish, right?
Yeah.
But now they're saying average guys will paint a nail or two or all in order to make some kind of a statement.
If I had a daughter, I'd let her do it to me. If I had a daughter, I'd let her paint all my nails. Has your daughter ever painted your nails?
Has my daughter ever painted my nails?
Yeah.
No, why would I let her paint my nails?
I know some dads that let their daughters.
I wouldn't even know what color do we start with here. I mean, is there? I'm serious. I mean, we're going to have, if we're going to develop the conversation, then I think maybe we ought to develop the conversation. Just go, okay, straight male that identifies conservative. If I was going to paint my nail, what should it be? What's the palette here among 57-year-old straight males that are identified conservative?
Camouflage.
USMC red.
There you go.
That's what I'd be going for. Manly marine red, or blue with the little marine red chevrons on on the nails or something like that.
That would work.
Have you ever gone to a pedicure?
I have, when I went to the Philippines once in my whole life.
Right.
They said you had to do that if you go to the Philippines, and I fell asleep on the chair.
Yeah, Nate says guys have been painting their nails since the 1970s. But I'm not talking about like goth guys. I'm not talking about like punk rocker guys in the 70s and 80s doing that stuff, just trying to make some kind of that, hardcore death to America statement as much as it is. I mean, is it possible that there's going to be a time where regular guys, Nate, like you and I, are going to be walking around with different colored nails than the ones that we have, right?
If you do it, I'll do it, Ray. But you got to be first. Lead the way.
Well, all right. This is the takeaway here, buddy. It says when average guys will paint a nail or two, and I don't know that you or I could be characterized as average in any way, shape, or form. What's that? James Howard says Silver Fox. That's your new call sign, Gibson. I don't know about that. Tammy Bamba. All right, she's a pretty girl. She knows what she's talking about. Get a manicure, but leave out the polish. I recall having one of my first girlfriends, Dina, and she was a beauty queen. In fact, winner, Miss Guam Universe, once upon a time. Broke my heart, I tell you what. But before she broke my heart, she wanted to practice doing some nail work, right? And so she sits me down. She says, I'm going to give you a manicure. And I don't recall anything being more painful than that at the time. Beauty is pain, ladies. I'm with you. So whenever I see you, ladies, and I know that there was some effort going into getting dolled up, I will always absolutely tell. I love your hair. I don't even need to see you in order to say this. Your eyelashes look great. Are those new shoes? Did you just get a haircut? Just guys practice those lines anytime. Even if it's not true, you just go up to any woman, because I guarantee at some point one of those 3 or 4 things have happened. Are those new shoes? Is that a new purse? Did you just get a haircut? And what was the other one? Your eyelashes.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that to mom, for me at least. Let your mom know that you love her hair.
Nick Terlosky wants me to make them sparkly. James Howard says there's actually a charity that does that. Dads and daughters paints the father's nails. There's bonding that goes on, and then there's donations. And then if you really, really need to, they've got nail polish remover that they'll sell you for $100 for a bottle that big. So you're not going to be seen by your friends. But anyway, getting back to the Dina story. So my recollection is she needed to do something. I think she said, I need to push your cuticle back. And so if I get it right, I'm probably not, but I believe the cuticle is that little flap of skin that goes from your fingernail into the actual into your human body.
You are correct.
And so they want to be able to push all of that stuff back in. And it hurt like they use a little piece of wood with a little sharp point on it, and that's what they use to push the thing back into your skin. And I'm going, why the hell?
Sounds like one of those Japanese or Chinese torture.
It exactly is that. So that's where we're headed. I just want to let you know, guys, that's where we're headed with this manicure conversation. Dude, I would totally get that tattooed on my chest. Silver Fox. It's an actual thing. Friend of mine from Southern California came out here and said, why don't you visit me in Southern California? I said, I don't think I'd fit in. And she says, no, you're Silver Fox. Now, you would fit in. And there would be people, because there's a fetish apparently. There would be people that would be knocking themselves down trying to get some hang time with a Silver Fox. Guys, grow the beard. Just see what happens. 9 o'clock in the morning, the radio station KUSG. I got ya. We are 93.3. Coming up, Fox News Live. We'll get the Kobe update, etc., and maybe a coronavirus update and all of that stuff as the program continues. Got another hour of talk radio to kill you and I. Let me know what it is that you want me to talk about. I'm taking requests online at Facebook Live. Stand by now for Fox News Live. This is The Point.
The Point is Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
This is a Fox News alert. Day 2 of defense. I'm Lisa Lacera. President Trump's team turning the spotlight on former Vice President Biden and his son. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
President Trump's impeachment team says questions about former Vice President Joe Biden's son Hunter and his work with Ukrainian energy firm Burisma are legitimate.
Hunter Biden had no experience in natural gas, no experience in the energy sector, no experience with Ukrainian regulatory affairs. As far as we know, he doesn't speak Ukrainian.
Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi argues State Department officials expressed concerns about Biden's role with the firm. House Democrats say President Trump's interest, however, was not about corruption, but instead motivated by politics and a perceived threat of the former vice president's presidential candidacy. Lisa.
Jared, the number of dead now 80 in China and the number of sick about 2,700 from an outbreak of a new type of coronavirus in the U.S. There are 5 active cases.
CDC will continue our aggressive public health response strategy.
working to protect the health and safety of the American public.
Dr. Nancy Messonnier with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. China has extended the Lunar New Year to keep the public at home and avoid spreading infection, while Mongolia has closed its border with China. Hong Kong and Malaysia announced they would not allow visitors from Wuhan province. Fears about the virus sending stocks tumbling.
The Dow fell 453 points, the Nasdaq fell 175, and the S&P 500 gave up 51 points on Monday. Travel stocks and casino stocks ending the day sharply lower. Restaurant stocks, including Starbucks, plus the owner of Pizza Hut and KFC, as well as McDonald's, also lower. They're closing stores in China near the epicenter of the virus.
Lauren Simonetti with Fox Business on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. America is listening to Fox News.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
Hi, welcome to this ad for new Subway sliders, starting at $1.99 each. How do you want it?
Cheer Squad. Woo! Go Subway sliders starting at $1.99 each. Woo! Give me a ham and jack slider.
Ham and jack slider.
Give me an Italian spice slider.
Italian spice slider.
What's that spell?
It doesn't really spell anything.
New Subway sliders starting at $1.99 each. Go Sliders!
Subway, make it what you want.
3 bodies have been recovered from the crash site in Calabasas, California, where the helicopter carrying Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others crashed yesterday, killing everyone on board.
Audio recordings have been released from liveatc.com of conversations between the helicopter pilot and air traffic controllers in 2 locations as the chopper headed west.
You're cleared to prevent class Charlie surface area from the southeast to the northwest.
Copy that. To maintain special VFR, copter to Equus.
The weather was foggy Sunday morning when the crash occurred, and the audio recordings reveal the pilot was given special visual flight rules clearance to fly in challenging conditions. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Just moments ago, the NBA announcing tomorrow's game between the LA Lakers and LA Clippers, scheduled for tomorrow at Staples Center, has been postponed, saying the decision was made out of respect for the Lakers organization, which is deeply grieving the loss of Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and the 7 others in the crash. San Francisco-based health information tech company Practice Fusion paying $145 million to resolve criminal and civil charges that it helped set up a system that encouraged doctors to prescribe opioids to patients who may not have needed them. That's according to federal prosecutors in Vermont. The ratings for last night's Grammys are in.
In early numbers, they drew 16.54 million viewers among adults 18 to 49 and will likely match the number of the 2018 telecast, which was a 9-year ratings low of 19.8 million. Billie Eilish was a big winner, but she wasn't even sold in her acceptance speech, giving props to another nominee.
Can I just say that I think Ariana deserves this?
Sound courtesy of CBS and the Recording Academy. Eilish grabbed 5 of the 6 awards. Lizzo won 3. The singer also dedicated her show opening performance to Kobe Bryant.
Fox's Michelle Polino reporting. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
Hey, do you know what time the bank closes? I need to deposit my check.
You know you can do that from your phone.
I can?
With Bank of Guam's mobile app, it's easy. Just endorse the back and snap a pic to deposit it into your account. You can do this from anywhere, anytime, which means no rushing to catch the bank and no lines.
With Bank of Guam's mobile app and online banking, we're always open. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
Oh, I got to do this again. I got to tell everybody about the fantastic people that make it so that I get to spend 4 hours a day here with you. American president lines, global presence with a local home. They're right there at the top. And, of course, the team over at Wendy's. 4 for $4. It is the best value on Guam. You know where I get that from, guys? I get that from other guys in the fast food business that say, yeah, we can't top that. That's a good deal. You get the chicken nuggets, and you get fries, and you get a soda. But you also get your choice of a whole bunch of different sandwiches that you can have with that. Junior bacon cheeseburgers and regular cheeseburgers and just a whole gaggle of stuff here. The junior cheeseburger, chicken sandwich, junior bacon cheeseburger, and the double stack. Those are the 4 sandwich choices that you can have in the big 4 for $4 medley at Wendy's.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah. 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, and take a look at the nails. I have not changed any of the colors of the nails. Now, that's not to say that I would never do it, because as Mona said this morning, the important thing is that we never ever say never, because there could always be some reason that comes up. I'll tell you right now, one of the opportunities where I might consider doing something with the nails is. Every once in a while, I'll be doing something outside that requires something like a hammer or a jackhammer or, something that's got a gas motor on it. And I'll jack a fingernail, right? You ever get that? Where you jack a fingernail so bad it gets discolored underneath? You just get this black thing, and you're going, well, that's ugly. What do I do about that? And that might be one of those cases where I go check out the Vietnamese ladies over at Agana Shopping Center and see if they might be able to do something with that. Maybe just a little flesh-colored thing. But if you got to do it, what would be a good color for me? Like a hazel brown to match my eyes or something like that.
Oh, man.
Manicures, it's a thing. Get ready to roll your eyes at it and watch. I'll bet you the people over at the legislature will start coming up with rules and regulations on how to deal with men now in pedicure and manicure places, because that I see as a growing trend. There was a buddy of mine, Vince. I'm not going to give his last name, but my friend Vince, I'd actually walked by one of these places like Agana Shopping Center. I walked in there and I saw this. It was just, no other way to say it, just a shape, a Vince-shaped shape. Sitting on the chair with his pants rolled up around his knees and his feet in soup. It was in feet soup. And I didn't say anything then. I mean, I looked in and we made eye contact, and it was one of those, you get that with guys every once in a while. You just make eye contacts like, we're going to talk about this later. Not now, but this is going to be part of a conversation that we're going to have a little bit later on. So we finally got together a couple of weeks later. I said, what are you doing in there? And he says, Ray, You've never done this before. I said, no, it's what? He says, it's the best thing. He says, it really is the best thing. And he's not one of this guy, this village boy, right? He's not one of these guys that you would think sits around on Sunday morning after Mass going, how do I want to pamper myself today? You don't. But that's where he went. He went to one of these places, and he's got somebody, not painting his nails, but they were doing maintenance, if you will, on his nails. And he had his feet in the hot water soup, and he just absolutely enjoyed it. And look, same thing. I know guys that go and get massages. I've never been a big massage guy. It's just not one of those things, and I'm not comfortable with some of the process. Certainly could see the prices come down, and I'd be happy. But every once in a while, it ain't a bad thing to go and get a massage from somebody that knows what they're doing. I don't need to have the pretty exotic Middle Eastern or Middle Asian music playing off in the background. It does not have to smell like sandalwood. It doesn't have to sound like any minute now a yoga would break out. It just some place to go and have somebody with monster hands. And it's usually a little tiny Asian girl, about 4 feet nothing, weighing 85 pounds. And then they start working on you with these hands that you could tear phone books with. That is such a great feeling.
So you're the guy that picks the tough-looking one.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. There's okay. So here's the other thing, and I was working on becoming a connoisseur of this. The reason why I'm going to say this now is because it'll come up in a campaign. I'm sure somebody's got pictures of me walking into and out of a couple of massage parlors, a Marine Corps Drive massage parlors, Tumon massage places, or there's one in Hamburger Road. There's one in Hamburger Road, and there's a girl there. She's a linebacker. She is a linebacker, and for $50, right? You get an hour with her for $50, and she just goes in there and she will find pain on your body, and either amplify it or get rid of it. You know, I got a thing in my neck, and she's the only one that was ever able to tweak it out. Now I know what some of you are saying. I know what you're saying is, wait a second. These look like happy ending places, Ray.
No.
Look, you're allowed to say no. If they say, "Hey, Chief, would you like a happy ending?" You just say no, and they say, "Okay."
No means no.
Then get out. You pay me and go there. Thank you very much. There are those places where there's the implication that it could happen, but if you just say no, if the offer comes up, then it's a straight legitimate massage. That it's a straight, legit massage. So try it out if you get a chance. 9:11 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. This is me being a millennial and oversharing. Speaking of oversharing, Ken Leon Guerrero, I believe, sent this in, and it is going to play this on Facebook Live. And it is honesty in campaign. It started this morning. Ken LG calls in this morning with some ideas and some useful information for people that are running for office. If you're going to have any kind of image out there, make sure that it's got an email address on it. But not everybody uses email. There's still a lot of people for which an old-fashioned, just a phone. Just a phone. So go and get a gas station blue phone. Just get a burner and a number, and that becomes your campaign telephone number, so that people can call and leave messages and ask questions of you. Nothing wrong with that. 912. I think that's some great advice. And then he passes this along, and I think this is another way of providing some very good advice, or at least a better understanding of what's at stake for people that are running for office.
Hi, I'm Gil Fulbright. The people that run my campaign, they've made this commercial, and I'm in it. This campaign, it's not about me. It's about crafting a version of me that'll appeal to you. A version that visits random work sites with paid actors pointing at things. A version of me that doesn't find old people loathsome or pointless. Has a conventionally attractive yet curiously still family. Listening to my constituents, legislating, these are things I don't do. What I do is spend about 70% of my time raising funds for re-election. I'd do anything to stay in office. My name's Gil Fulbright, but hell, I'll change my name to Phil Goldbright, or Bill Fulbright, or fill up my mouth with farts. These are the things that are important to me. And these are the fine people that finance my campaign. Now, in order to do these things, I have to stay in office. And to stay in office, I have to keep these guys happy. Now, if any of these things make these guys unhappy, well, my hands are tied. So come November, the choice is clear. Do you want another spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? Or a spineless mouthpiece for special interest and lobbyists? I'm Philip a mouth with farts, and I approve this message.
That might be the funniest thing that I'm going to be watching all day. I may play that again before it gets to be 10 o'clock this morning. Philip, my mouth with farts.
He's got my vote.
Where do we sign up? When's the fundraising for that? And apparently this is a thing on the internet. So if he gets 1 million likes, he'll do a version of it where he's running for the president. He may have already done that. In which case, we'll see if we can dig that out. At some point. But isn't that the fear? Isn't that the fear of being behind the curtain and understanding a little bit about what the process is like? And there's not one person that hasn't asked the question. Because I've been getting this in email. I got conspiracy theorists all over the place. I got people that are checking me out in the email asking, who are the real owners of that old legislature / DOE building? And how did they get the best real estate deal on Guam? How is it possible that they got that? That building has been around for years. If it was the Department of Education central office back in the 1970s, and I've got vivid memories of my sister. Do I want to say which one? Scraping a car on the side of the road because it was those small Lagana streets, and Shelley was driving the big car, and it came to tears, I think. But that was because it was very busy. There was a Department of Education was there, and this is 1977 that we're talking about. And that is 40 some odd years ago. So we're not talking about a brand new building in the downtown Agutnia area that the government of Guam bought. I got somebody sent me a screen cap of a friend of mine. He's a friend of yours. I won't say his last name. It's Monty. And Monty's, kind of asking out loud, what kind of deal is this? And it doesn't seem like anything can be done about it. He says, come on, folks, $2.5 million plus $6,366 a month for land lease. This is a terrible deal no matter how you look at it. This $2.5 million apparently is Department of Interior grant money that was supposed to fund a homeless shelter. We all agree we need the homeless shelter, and most of us agree that this purchase is ridiculous. This is happening right here on our island, and it looks like none of us can stop it. Right? Did anybody get the sense that there's anything that can be done about this? That maybe the judge might be able to leap in there and go, hold on, wait a second. What is this? Who conducted the negotiation on this? Was there negotiation? Who are these people? Some Taiwanese family that obviously has ties to Guam. Okay. Why and why? I mean, the government of Guam needs some place to do business. Okay, that's fine. But did we have to get the most expensive version of the places to do business? Now that's one side of the equation. That's one side of the story. There's another one, and there's going to be media guys that get into the mix and want to do their own riffs on that story, and I may have on a piece of paper. A story from, there it is, Chris Barnett did at KUM. Governor axes Agutnia homeless shelter because it didn't align with the redevelopment plans. Is that what the deal is? Plan to open a homeless shelter in Agutnia was killed by the administration to make way for more Gov Guam offices. The plans for the government homeless shelter at the old legislature on Hessler Street were axed after Governor Lulian Guerrero wrote to the Department of Interior asking to remove the homeless component of the project to utilize the property for essential government functions. The building, but not the land it sits on, was recently bought by Gov Guam using $2.5 million in DOI funds. Plans for a homeless shelter in Agutnia were initiated during former Governor Eddie Calvo's administration, but Governor Lulian Guerrero wrote to DOI asking to remove the shelter plans because they didn't align with plans to revitalize our capital of Agutnia. I'm firmly committed to once again seeing Agutnia as our island center for culture, arts, and government. BBMR Director Les Carlson told KUM the governor has taken the lead on this project. She just thinks it's a wonderful idea that we can locate all these agencies, and basically this is a really, truly her project. Initially, there was an idea that after working hours, the session hall area would be utilized for secure sleeping for homeless people. We rethought that idea. The governor's putting together a more comprehensive homeless plan to address island-wide as opposed to just Agutnia. Now, there's going to be people that will beat their chest and proclaim up and down just how cold and cruel and heartless the governor is where it comes to homelessness. And I know, Lou. We get into our political conversations. You know, I remember it was a great degree of delight. We were sitting out. I'm trying to remember. We were at Triple J, the Triple J Honda, and we were there for something. It's a Make-A-Wish thing or a Red Cross deal. I think it was a Red Cross deal because it was late in the year. And we got to talking politics, and she said something like, she knew I was a Trump guy, right? So she says, no, Trump's not going to win. Hillary's going to win. I said, Hillary's going to jail. And she said, what? Get out of here. But I'm not going to take advantage of this opportunity to color her as cold and cruel and heartless and uncaring for the plight of the homeless in the downtown Agutnia area. I'm in the downtown Agutnia area every day. And I see the procession, and I tell you what, I've told you this before. You get down to into the downtown Augusta area anywhere between, I don't know, 5:50 and 7 o'clock at night, and it's zombie town. They have been otherwise sleeping here, catching some rays over there, enjoying a breeze over there. But it gets to be around that time. And they know if they go in this direction, there'll be food. And once they get the food, they start ambling off in another direction, walking down the middle of the street, sometimes 4 or 5 across, 2 or 3 deep. You know, it's these little coalitions of homeless people that they've got down there. And it really, really is a sad thing to see. It's a sad thing to see. But there are places where they can go to get help they need and get them off the streets. So I think in many cases, these people they're habitually homeless at this point. You want to go to family? You got family here? Yeah. You want to go live with them? No. Make me live by the rules in the house. I live out here in the streets. Nobody bothers me. I don't have to deal with that. I can go and bum food over there. And as far as sleeping arrangements are concerned, you would be surprised if you walk around Augusta in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, and find where these people are able to find shelter from the elements. You know, cool winds at night and the occasional rainstorm. They're equipped to deal. They're probably better equipped to deal with that in Agana than I am as a hiking camper. Most of my hiking campouts that I go on, I get rained out every single time. And you wonder about the folks that are homeless and find their way in the downtown Augusta area. Where are they going? They know the places to go and catch a safe night's sleep out in the streets of Augusta. I'm with the governor on this one. I think that the capital city needs to be the shining example. Culture, arts, government, all of the things that, frankly, it was when I was a kid. And I'd like to see it return to that. There are a number of homeless people, and I hate to be the hard-hearted guy, but we got to find, if they're going to be habitually homeless, they've got to do it someplace else. That is a major tourist hub for the island. It is the center of our ancient history. The current history with the Spaniards and our own current government history is all downtown. We've got at any given time, 9:22. Are we late enough in the morning? You ought to be able to drive by the Plaza de España and on what is generally a nice day, there must be 20 Korean families that are walking around the Plaza de España. They take pictures and selfies of everything. They will stand next to anything that they think they might be able to get a decent selfie shot out of, and do that. And just past the veneer of the pretty Agana, there is this the wandering zombie homeless coalition that they've got down there. I get it. Some people run through hard times. God forbid, but for the grace of God go I that happens to me or anybody in my family. But there are places where they should be able to go to get food on a regular basis, to get temporary housing, to get permanent housing. There was a family I tried to help out, and I found out I wasn't the only guy that tried to help them out. I saw them, called a couple of people in my Rolodex, and they said, "Yeah, we've worked with that family again before, but we'll try again." Like, because you're asking. Okay, all right, fine. And we were able to get the guy. And it was a family. It was a mom and dad and a couple of kids. And we were able to get them in a house up, not quite Gigo, but not Dededo anymore. Kind of that area. And pretty soon the guy moved out. The guy just said, "No, we're not staying here." "Why not?" "So I can't get a job here." I said, "Well, there's jobs, all kinds of places where you might be able to find a job." And what he was talking about was there weren't enough busy intersections for him to stand at and grab money. That was his thing, and that was how he was able to keep his hustle going. And unless he could make his way back down to, at the time he used to bum over at Payless in Tamuning, unless he could make it down there on a regular basis, as far as he was concerned, he was too far out of district. So that was the toss-up, is my family will sleep in the streets but I get to bum over at the Payless. Or my family can live in a house, but I can't bum over at Payless. And I might have to find a job working in a warehouse up here or a mom-and-pop store or whatever. I might have to do something and actually have to report to a boss. What eventually happened in that family, if I recall, is people were able to scrape up enough money to get the wife and the kids back to stateside family, and he was supposed to follow a little bit later on. I don't know eventually what happened to that. But that's the deal. They're going to be people that are going to give Governor Lou a hard time about this. I ain't going to be one of them. I think that there's some brilliant ideas, one way or the other, for Agutnya redevelopment and the future for Agutnya, and it cannot include homeless people. We've got a thriving government of Guam. If you need help in this town, trust me, you can find it. There are more than enough places that will take care of your housing, will get you employed, will put some food in your stomach on a regular basis. But yeah, there are some rules that you're going to have to follow, and if you can't do that, then you're on your own. But you can't be on your own and just kind of flit around the Agutnya area and think that you've become part of the landscape, that it's permanent. The problem is we've got rules and regulations on those kinds of things, vagrancies, that are not being enforced. And the other reason behind that is we just, in my mind, don't have any place to put them on a long-term basis. 888-825-888-TALK. What are people online saying? Anybody agreeing with me on this? Honest political ads, Gil Fulbright for president. Okay, apparently it does exist. Lady D talking about the people still vote for them. Go figure, huh? LOL. Nick Pulaski, Zombieland, and the administration has done nothing, and now let's put them up in the San Ramon residence. As long as they're on a Vagania, okay with me. Drive-by plaza, but don't park because they can't see parking stalls there. They're all faded. Some sparkling gem that we've got there. Which parking lot you talking about? The one on the church side? Or behind the Plaza de España, or on the side of the Plaza de España. The old administration building, somebody needs to, you know who's in charge of that? It's not the governor's office, it's the legislature's in charge of that area of Agutnya, because it was them that destroyed, I thought, a perfectly good building. It just needed a little bit of work on it. I'm still mad about that. I'm still ticked off that they took the administration building down. I thought that was a nice building for its time. The problem is it wasn't as fancy looking as what the museum was going to look like. It wasn't as fancy looking as the new Congress building is supposed to look like. So they knocked that thing down. Just unceremonious. And the thing is, they didn't need to. They just kind of manipulated all the reports and said, oh no, we can't do this. This is a concrete building, is asbestos. There's lead in the paint. Yeah, that's what it is. There's lead in the paint. There's rust in the water. We can't possibly do anything with this. So they knocked the thing down, and they never were able to replace it with anything. And the other thing that ticked me off was when finally people found a way to use that property. They were kicked off. I'm still mad about this. It came up a couple of years ago. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a nut for the food truck revolution, right? Yes. I love those guys. I might not eat there every day. And in a couple of cases, I may never eat there at all because the lines are too long. But I encourage that kind of thing. I like the entrepreneurial spirit that these guys have. I love the way that they kind of thumb their nose at the traditional working models of doing business, where, we got to have a restaurant. It's got to be this, and it's got to be that kind of decorations. We got to have this kind of chairs, and we got to have, an actual building to go into. And these guys are like, no, don't think so. We got a truck. There's enough room in the truck for a couple of places to prepare food and cook food and then serve it to people, and let's do that. And they do. And you go downtown. What is it? Thursday night downtown? Is that the big deal? Yes. So you go down at Thursday night, and there's all kinds of food trucks that you can get into. Well, there used to be a time where you could go downtown Agutnya on the old foundation of the administration building. There were a bunch of food trucks that were doing some decent business around there, taking care of people that were driving through, or people that were working over at the chamber building, police department next door, post office, people that were going to the post office had someplace to go and get a cheeseburger or something like that. I don't know what it was, but somebody over at the legislature was just annoyed to pieces that they had the temerity to squat on that property that they weren't using anyway, and drove them off. Drove them away. Like Jesus drove the Pharisees out of the church. It was the Pharisees, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And sometimes I'll pretend to quote biblical, and no, I'm just blowing it. Just blowing it. No, Jesus didn't actually say that. No, he never said this bud's for you. At 9:29 in the morning. So let's support these guys and let's find a way to get the homeless out of the downtown Hagatna area. Drive by the plaza later on today, and you will see a whole bunch of people hanging out and enjoying that part of town. And I'd love to see more of that. There's the sundresses and the strollers and the Korean hot pants and everybody getting there. We need more of those Guam signs too. Can we make that a thing?
Yeah.
We need to get more of the Guam signs. And I think one of the things that we ought to do is figure out a way that we can have these Guam signs with the village name in front of them.
Yeah.
So like in my village, Mongmong Totu Mighty, comma, and then Guam. So it'd be this massive thing, and we could make it like a quest for all of the tourists to drive around and get their selfies, get their family pictures taken in front of all of these big Guam signs. Right?
That would be cool.
It would be, for the villages with small names, it'd be awesome. For larger name villages, I don't know about that. We'll have to work with the mayor on something like that. Bottom of the hour, 888-825-5888-TALK. You want to hang out with me on the phone, that's the way to do that. Hit me up on the WhatsApps, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. I'm going to put this up on the WhatsApp now, because if I don't, then I'll completely forget about it. And I promised somebody that I was going to mention something that they've got coming up. And if you're a fisherman or fisherwoman here on Guam, this is a couple of meetings that are must attend. Details in a sec. 9:31 is the time for iConnect. Swing by iConnect and ask them about saving all kinds of dough on your mobile and push-to-talk and internet plans.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
What's this? This heavy. You've touched somebody on a nerve when somebody sends you a note that says, "Jump-lu." Jump-lu, there's already a shelter. Saguma, San Francisco. Weren't they going to have the lockup down there? Hey, busted de Melania. That's how you know you've touched the nerve, when you get something that starts off of a Jump-lu. Trying to remember whether that's one of the words that I can use on the radio. I think I can but I have to say it in Chamorro.
My grandmother used to say, that's not a nice word.
That's not a nice word, but it's okay to use it. You're talking about that white guy over there. Yes, they were talking about turning the Agana precinct into a lockup, and I'm not going to take credit for derailing that plan, but I will submit to you that I sent notes and commentary to people in high places in the government of Guam saying that was about the stupidest thing in the world, and I can't believe anybody entertained it for any longer than how long does a fart take? Yeah, any longer than that. Because it just, here it is. There it is, right there, downtown Hagatna area. Got a nice post office, right? Get nostalgic feelings when I think about the old post office. You got that. Next door to that, we've got the new Congress building and the museum, and it's beautiful. I mean, we get the beautiful dog trees over there, and the Cathedral Basilica, Basilica, at the yacht club. With the beautiful Cathedral Basilica over there. And then they wanted to put up these big 20-foot poles and have big chain link fences with concertina wire around the things, because they wanted to make that the new lockup. And I said that lockup will be in every shot, in every camera, in every selfie that gets taken in the downtown Hagatna area, because you can see it from everywhere. Why would we want to do something like this? Is there not a better use for that facility? And the truth of the matter is, I think there is. I think there is, and they're just not. They're trying to keep everything all in the family. Give that spit of property to somebody else. And if we're not going to make it a police department, people like museums. Let's make it a Guam Crime Museum or something like that. Just what we'll do is we'll go all the way back, and get pictures of guys getting executed, because he used to do executions here on Guam.
Wow.
Back in the day, and great crime stories from once upon a time. And there might be, I don't want to do all of them, because, there's people that are still alive that are associated with and in some cases, you think about some of the double, triple murders, the things that we had that changed the course of our island, in my mind. The drug deals that we used to have back in the 1970s. And if you want to scare kids, this will scare kids. They used to have this up a long time ago at the Agana precinct. And it was pictures of cars that had been in accidents.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them mangled, and you could still make out blood in some of these. And there was black and white pictures. I mean, these guys were real creative. But I always thought that was, there's what you got to be careful for, is you might get yourself in a wreck. And we're talking about, 1960s, 70s era cars, before seatbelts.
Airbags.
And airbags. And it had the kind of glass when it broke into sharp pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And just kill you dead. Where were we? I promised I'd talk about this. I've got on Facebook Live right now. I've got on the video feed an image that I got from somebody, and I'm going to tell you, I know it's going to be hard to read. All you might be able to make out is a guy holding a red fish. What kind of fish is that?
It looks like the Queen of the Sea. They call it, I forget what they call it, but they call it the Queen of the Sea. It's
You're
really
making that up. You're as
fish.
bad as I am. You're just making crap up now. Right?
It's a deep bottom fish.
All fishermen, very important meetings coming up. There's a bottom fish meeting that's going to take place Thursday at the Hilton's Micronesian Ballroom. Fun starts at 6. It says, calling all fishermen, especially bottom fishermen. You don't want to know where my mind has wandered. Guam's bottom fishery in federal waters may get closed for years. Your participation and input is so important to address this concern. So again, bottom fishermen of Guam, but bottom fishermen especially, Thursday, January the 3rd, Hilton Guam Micronesia Room. Then this is interesting, a shark interaction meeting, which will take place the following night, same place, 5 until 8. Have you had your fish taken by a shark? Please join this meeting and share your experience. Good, accurate shark interaction data is needed, and your support is appreciated. So we got those two things happening: bottom fishing, and then a conversation about sharks that's going to take place the very following night. And now I like going in the water, but I'm not nuts about swimming with sharks. I've seen sharks in the water. And as far as I'm concerned, if I don't mess around with them, they're unlikely to mess around with me.
It's called onaga.
For the shark?
For that red fish is
okay, onaga. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And is it truly the princess of the ocean,
call it
or
the Queen of the Sea?
The Queen of the Sea.
Deep bottom.
The magahaga of the waves, as it were. Okay, I got you. Anyway, so there's a story that I was looking at the other day about the numbers. There are people that catalog this kind of thing, and the numbers of shark attacks, unprovoked shark attacks, is actually about the same as it's always been. There are people that keep track of this kind of thing and looking at numbers like the kind they're going to be asking about on Friday night, so that they can put together these reports. And based on some of the reports, it is still less likely for you to be attacked by an unprovoked attack by a shark. Now, that doesn't mean to say that it won't happen. There's all kinds of reasons why unprovoked attacks by sharks will happen. One of them has to do with fishing. One of them has to do with net fishing, as a matter of fact. So you get these guys, and they go out with the nets of one size or another, and they might catch a shark in the net. Well, what do you do when you've got a shark in the net? You take it out.
Yeah.
You have to take the shark out of the net. At some point, the shark cannot be there anymore, and you have to take the shark out. And so they say that is one of the reasons is people will reach their hand into a net, and the shark got the teeth parts. Those things move around a lot, and so you might think you're reaching for some place that is safe on the shark, like there's a place on a shark that is safe, and get yourself a handful of teeth instead. So that's shark attack number one. Shark attack number two is when humans initiate the contact. There was a picture around here. I don't want to say it went viral, but a lot of people saw it. And I don't know which branch of the service it was, but it was just some dumb serviceman out there that picked up a shark. And my line when I was looking at that was, this guy deserves whatever he gets from messing around with a shark. Divers trying to interact with sharks. Why would you do that? What I know many old divers. I know many bold divers. I don't know many old, bold divers. And I know that there are some people that kind of get their rocks off by playing around with sharks. That probably shouldn't use that phrase. But anyway, they get their jollies by playing around with sharks. And I know that there's some people that have been doing it for a long time. Right, and might have a relationship built up with the shark. Maybe they're related. Maybe there's one of them is the guy's lawyer or something like that. I don't professional courtesy going on there. But here's the thing, guys: is if you're ever in the ocean and there is a shark, just let it go. Just don't chase it down. Don't go and try to grab it by the tail or the dorsal fin or things like that. If I was a shark, I'd be sensitive about that and want to get your attention. And they only have one way of getting somebody's attention, and that is, I think, taking a bite out of them. 20 away from 10 o'clock. Is it already? Good Lord, would you look at the time? Tuesday morning, we're going to be out of this week here before you know it. No. I got to drop this in at kind of random times. I don't want to do it at the same time every day. Valentine's is February the 14th. You don't need to know that. What you do need to know is that February the 14th is a Friday night. I will repeat this over and over until we get close to this. I'm trying to save you here. What you want to do right now while I'm talking about it is pick up, open up Facebook and look for Facebook events. I will guarantee, in fact, I'm going to do it now while I'm talking about it. Go and look for Facebook events. And there will be, under the Facebook events, any number of activities that will be taking place, some of which might be around Valentine's. A buddy of mine's got a Super Bowl watching party that he's invited me to. But it's for his Kansas City Chiefs. Oh. They suck. It's not that they suck. It's just I'm just thinking that maybe I'm going to be more inclined to go with San Francisco 49ers because I don't know. I think here's the deal. I got more friends that are 49ers fans than I do that are Kansas City Chiefs fans. I'm not saying it ain't happening. I'm just saying I'm not familiar with it. Wine tasting at the lounge. Sunset yoga. Doga. What's Doga? What is that? What is this? A new thing? Join us. It's a morning of yoga with our furry friends. The dogs now know how to do yoga. I want to see dog here with skinny pants and with yoga pants. That's fun. All right. Yeah. Okay. Tell you what. Here's the thing. Maybe now is not the time to do it because everything seems to be pointing at what is it? Everything seems to be pointing at Super Bowl. I'm not seeing anything yet that is specifically for Valentine's. All right. Never mind that. Let me give you Plan B. Plan B, open up the Facebook and just search for restaurants, or open up your map, any kind of map, Apple Maps, Google Maps on your phone, and look for restaurants. Find a restaurant where you look down at the menu, not up at the menu, and call them up and make reservations. It doesn't have to be the best one in the whole wide world. It just has to be a nice restaurant, and anticipate that you're probably not going to be alone there. I don't think there's going to be anything like an intimate Valentine's dinner. Number one, it's Friday. And number two, there's going to be a big military exercise here on Guam. Cope North, I believe, is going to be happening through Valentine's. So even the most intimate places are probably going to be crowded. And you know why? Because businesses like money, and they're not going. Wait a second, I can make more money if I put another chair here. Let's call East West and get some more chairs in here. Let's do that. 18 away from 10 o'clock in the morning. One of the stories that we were talking about yesterday had to do with Southern High School. And in 2000, God, was it 8 or 9, I started getting emails from a guy named Barry Mead. And Barry was instrumental, I think, in finally calling attention to the dilapidated conditions in what was, at one time, Guam's brand new state-of-the-art school. And they let the place go to hell, and it ticked Barry Mead off, and it ticked everybody off in the community. And this is, beginning of interactive media and the social media, where you could take a picture and put it online where people could see exactly what we were talking about. So instead of saying that there was mold and mildew everywhere, instead of saying that, if you take a look inside the swimming pool, it's green, number one, and number two, there's a set of bleachers in there. Barry Mead was able to capture that and share it with us on the media so we could share it with everybody else. Barry Mead joins me now. Good morning, Bear. How you doing?
Hey, Ray, I was wondering why you were calling me up, man.
Well, I'm calling you up because they did a story on either PNC or KUAM the other night talking about those very same problems that we thought you had solved 10 years ago are back. The auditorium seems to be in a lousy, another decrepit condition. I'm positive if there's anything going on in that swimming pool, it's tilapias making baby tilapias. And the gymnasium seems to have discovered some more problems down there. And it seems like all of that work you did back in the day is all for nothing, as usual.
Well, it stemmed from I was on the group that, I designed the culinary classrooms for our GCC classes over there, and worked on that way back in the day. And way back in those days, I even promoted, I said, we don't need to build a school this big. We need to build 2 high schools, keep a high school down in Inarahan.
Yeah.
And then also build another high school of lesser size and lesser complications. And, I don't think the baseball field has ever been used. The softball
well, they
field,
couldn't. There were drainage issues.
Now, but,
didn't they have drainage issues? In the softball field, and actual hard drains on the field, making the surface unplayable?
Well, at times, but I don't see that. I don't go over there after all my boys graduated and my grandson graduated. And I'll be honest with you, I really I spoke before the education board one night about textbooks and speaking to those folks. I'll be honest with you, Ray. I'll just say it. I'm so disgusted with those people on the board and with the superintendent and everyone over there, because it's not just Southern High. It's not. That's the most glaring, if you will, example, but. It's the whole operation. The mess with the pulling out of the IIAAG because they got hoodwinked by Mr. Lujan because a couple of his buddies were mad at somebody. And, you can't get any information out of them exactly why they did that deed. But there's that. You still don't have any textbooks. You still don't have the teachers that were illegally furloughed, 20 years ago now, still haven't been paid.
Right behind the world.
My 2 foster boys and my grandson went to Southern High, and, they didn't need a book bag because they didn't have any books. And so, one of the things they were talking about before I left the board in 2013 was, we're not going to use books. We're going to get tablets. And I said, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
You're going to, 1, have the expense of the tablet. 2, you're going to have the licensing fees. It's going to cost you more than textbooks. Well, they don't have those either now. But it's just a continuation. And when you look at it, overall, it's the board's fault. Because Don will come up and say, this is operational. And I would tell him, no, it's the board. We approve the budget. We approve the board policy. We make the board policies on the board. The board approves the budget. Therefore, it might be operational day to day, but it's the purview of the board and responsibility of the board to ensure that the board policies are being followed,
right,
and that the superintendent's following through. And guess what they don't do on that board?
Well, the green light they give a green light to the front office, don't they? On budgetary operational matters.
Well, what am I saying?
Okay, no, I'm loud and clear. I got you. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've heard that argument before. Well, I want to say Maria Gutierrez is in charge now over at the board, and she's got some scrapping capabilities. And my recollection is you and her used to get along.
I like Mary.
Yeah,
I like Mary, but
Good.
You know, I was watching C-SPAN one night, and they had the House Committee on Veterans Affairs was meeting, and this one lady got in there. She stood up she's in jail now, former congresswoman from Florida. And she says, well, you know, I've been on this committee for 22 years and blah, blah, blah. And I said to myself, there's the problem. So now, how long has Mary Gutierrez been on the Board of Education?
Oh, 10 years?
Come on, man.
Well, I'm trying to remember. How long have I been doing it? Because she's been a member of the board for as long as I've been in talk radio, and that's going back a ways now.
Exactly. Yeah. She was a member of the first elected board. The first.
Mm-hmm.
Back when it was the Guam Policy Board or whatever they call it, Education Policy Board.
Yeah, Ed Policy. Yeah.
She's been there since then. And you look at the people who have served on this board for these immense long periods of time. And it's just like the legislature, Ray. You can't expect a change when you elect the same old. You're not going to get any change.
Well, you're going to get different names in there, Bear. You know that. But the thing is there's the same corral of people that end up working in those senatorial offices, and it's the same batch of people that end up rolling around in the same boards and commissions that they have been on all of these years. I hear the problem that you're talking about.
The same result.
Yeah, man.
What's Mendiola done since he's been the chair and been on the board? First, he got appointed by Governor Calvo. Then he saw it and he got elected. But what has he done? What has he really, truly done?
I know that one of his priorities is working with the administration to get to Washington D.C. and get out from under the third-party fiduciary agent. That should free up a few $1 million a year.
In 2012, I put a motion on the table to have the fiduciary folks show up at the board meeting and start making monthly reports on the progress of where it's at and how long is it going to take them to finish something. Look, Ray, they've been here for, let me see, this is 2020. I got on the board in 2010, and nothing has changed. They don't make a monthly report. You call up anybody over there and ask them, what's the status of the fiduciary thing and when are they leaving? Well, they can't tell you because they don't have a frickin' plan. They don't have anything written down that you can actually hold them to ensure that they are making progress.
Well,
and when I brought that up, the guy shows up at the board meeting with, it looked like the IRS tax code. And I said, I don't need that. What I want is a monthly report of what the goals are and how you are getting to them. And it never happened.
Well, to their credit, I'll tell you, I know that among the problems were actually at USDOE because they didn't have those milestones written out. They had no idea. They knew that they could impose a fiduciary arrangement on Guam as they did with the Virgin Islands, but they never did have an exit plan. They never came up with a strategy to determine, to the satisfaction of the USDOE, what would the situation be for us to be able to unravel that relationship. Man, I'm glad I called. I got you all fired up, Barry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You need to take your little pill.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I was just talking. The reason I talked so late was I'm over here at GRMC. I'm going to have a carpal tunnel release, and I had to stop by and see our good friend Francis for a minute. And so now I'm torn between running for the CCU, the Education Board, or joining you and Daryl in the legislature. What a trio, dude!
Come on, it'll be like having 3 Jim Mileses in there.
There's a name I haven't heard for a while.
Right? That's
hey,
no.
Ray,
That's the
my day, man.
Dude, that's what we get. That's what we got to shoot for. We need somebody that would stand up like they should have yesterday and stood up in front of the body and said, "I can't believe we're wasting all this time on this stupid policy internship program, and now they want to make it. It's got to be the most diversified thing in the whole wide world, and we got to make it as easy for as every student on Guam as opposed to putting a quota on have to be part of the Department of Education. I can't believe that was what they thought was important and needed to be talked about. How about getting things square over at Southern High School, putting some lights up at Guam Major League? And I'm going to mention that. I'm going to mention that every day until it happens. Roll it back to 3. Roll it back to 3, and money will come pouring into the government.
Money. They got all this money. Roll that tax back, baby.
That's me and you and Jim Miles are agreeing. Hey, dude, we got to get together. We'll call and make plans and get public and start making sphincters tighten up all over the island.
I hear you. I hear you, my friend. You have a great day.
You know I will.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
888-8255. You just get the stent unit and the catheter unit ready. I think I've got his blood pressure all the way up. Did you hear? I started off with it was a nice Barry. Those of you that know, right? No, I started off with a nice Barry, and then I got to fire and brimstone Barry in almost no time flat. That's beautiful. Hey, oh my God, 9:55. Do I got time for this guy? Hey, Joe, you get the last word today.
Hey there,
Ray. Call me Ray.
You all support the Post, so I want to ask this front page story where these it's still ongoing investigation, but the guy allegedly committing a murder or what is it? Maybe a manslaughter. He's my question is the lady is 37. I do the math, Ray, and that means she's born before 86, so that means that she couldn't possibly be a U.S. citizen unless she was naturalized. So this could be like an international incident. This lady is living on the street. Foreign.
Might be overthinking this, but yeah, I'd do the mathematics if you want to. It doesn't make all that much difference to me. A murder is a murder, whether or not.
Shouldn't her government helping to be contacted?
I don't believe that those people are have anybody's best interest other than their own in mind. And I think their idea with Commonwealth Compacts of Free Association was wonderful. We can get rid of the guys that we've got around here that have been problems and get them to Guam, and they can be problems for Guam. We're basically doing their government's work with the housing and the imprisonment and health care of some of these folks. Not all of them, but some of them. Yep, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Okay. You have an outstanding morning. 9:56. I want to end on a high note, if you will. I forgot to mention this today. 35 rules for the workplace. Jerry Roberts does the Extra Point, and the Extra Point is a companion to a piece that he does in the Guam Daily Post called Work Zone. And today's Work Zone: 35 rules for the workplace. No kidding, 35.
Wow.
The first 5 though are the most important ones. At number 5, never turn down a breath mint.
Okay.
Was it our friend John Palau? He had a funny bit on the radio. You just want to go there and get excited. Hey, why don't we go brush our teeth now? What do you say? You want to go brush it? So never turn down a breath. Number 4, never shake anyone's hands sitting down. When shaking hands, grip firmly and look them in the eye. I'm guilty of that. I'll try to do better. Number 3, don't play your personal music so loud it bothers everyone. Not everybody is excited about Eminem's new album, Music to Get Murdered By. Not everybody is listening for the subtle wordplay in there and the Dre-influenced beats. It's fun. Put it in your headphones. Just get your beats and put the beats on, and it'll sound like tennis shoes rolling around in the dryer. And that's what it was. But it'll only sound like that to you. Everybody else can listen to whatever it is, their Mantovani and all of that. Don't wear too much fragrance. My preference is fragrance neutrality. And it doesn't matter whether you bought it at the expensive place or whether you get your perfume and your pow pow from the drugstore. Okay, just a couple of drops in a couple of the usual spots, and this most important one: don't cook smelly food in the kitchen or the break room. I'm not going to say kimchi bowl. I'm going to leave that to somebody else. There was it? God, and I can't believe the town went crazy for it when they stopped selling it. Winchell's makes this clam chowder. And I'm just going to say that it comes with a fragrance, this clam chowder from Winchell's. And they didn't have it for a long time. And people protested in the streets, you got to get this thing back, because they missed the flavor, obviously, and clearly missed a little bit of the aroma that came along with it. But I'd walk into, there's times I used to walk into somebody's office and, okay, We'll talk about something later, okay? Right now I can't remember it, and I think the aroma from your Winchell's clam chowder may have changed the color of my hair as I walked in here. So at 10 o'clock in the morning, more fun and frivolity and information tomorrow. I can't believe that there's still so much in the table of contents that I didn't get to today, which means that I'm over-prepared for tomorrow, which means I can drink more tonight. Look, the radio station... I'm just being real, bro. I'm just being real. The radio station that you're listening to is 93.3. We are KUSG. At least that's what the FCC calls us. Other people have different names for us. We are The Point.
The Point is KUSG, Hagåtña, Guam, 93.3 FM and 104.3 HD3.
It's their turn. I'm Lee Silasera. President Trump's defense team now presenting their evidence in his impeachment trial, with former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi saying there have been numerous published reports questioning the involvement of Vice President Biden's son